What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Collective Show. I'm Zach.
My name is Dan.
My name is Nick.
My name is AJ Sankofa.
Hell yeah. AJ, it feels so good to have you in. We got a great story coming at you guys. AJ's story is going to be awesome. I'm excited. We only know very little, so we're going to find out at the same time as everyone else.
Cool.
So AJ, kick it off and tell us who you are and what you do.
Absolutely, man. I'm the pasta guy nowadays. I run SR Artisanal Pasta in Morristown on Catano Avenue. We opened the 1st of July in 2020, and our focus is delivering Italian pastas and sauces to your home for people to cook.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So before we get into AJ's story, if this is your first time listening to the Creative Collective Show, thank you for tuning in. If you are joining us on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to leave any questions for AJ there. We'll either answer them on the stream and or we'll have AJ hop back in there after the stream and answer some questions for you. That being said, everyone that's new here, be sure to leave a comment. Leave a like, hit that share button. It means a lot to us. More people will see and hear the show if you do so. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Maybe tell us we're awesome. Tell us we're terrible. Whatever your jive is. And what else we got? If you're a creator and you're listening to this, we do have a Facebook group. It is called NJ/NYC/PA Creative Collective. We just opened up the group to people from Pennsylvania. It is a Facebook group where all creators can connect, network, share their work, critique other people's work, hire people, sell gear, really anything and everything that you could think of to use in business or passion purposes. That's what our group is there for. And I think that's all I got to say this time.
All right.
Did I miss anything that's that important?
I don't think so. I think we got everything.
Yeah, I really got to get better at this. We've been out of. When's the last one we did before this? September?
A while ago.
Yeah.
No, you did.
No, we did. What's
Yeah,
today's?
before that.
Oh, a long time ago.
So yeah, we took a little hiatus when the pandemic happened. In the beginning of the pandemic, I think we did like 20 podcasts because we really had nothing else to do. So we're back. We'll call this season 2, and AJ's our second guest of this season, and we're really excited to hear his story. So let's jump into it.
Hell yeah. So AJ, let's take us back to, when you first got into the industry. Like let's go back to say high school.
High school. Yeah, man. My first restaurant-oriented job was actually at Bretton Woods. If you're a Morristown head from back in the day, you'll remember it was in Morris Plains. It was like a catering place. We did a lot of weddings, sports events, stuff like that. And me and a lot of my friends in high school worked there, so it was perfect.
What? So when you said you worked, what was your actual?
Yeah, so we were like busboys, man.
Okay.
It was like it was like my whole group of friends in a place, just like clearing glassware, taking plates away. Nothing too serious, nothing too crazy, but it was like, a lot of movement, high intensity, boom, 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 boom. And I like stuff like that, so it instantly was like, it clicked with me.
Cool. So that's high school. Now you're graduated. You go into college, right?
Oh, no, even so, I actually left that place and started working at Jockey Hollow while I was still in high school.
There you go.
Yeah. So my high school story is a little weird because I graduated early. So after my first semester of senior year, I graduated. I started working at Jockey Hollow in November of 2014. It was like a month after they opened. Shout out to David Wall. I always tell people David Wall. He's the one who put me on to Jockey Hollow. He was telling me yo, I'm making way more bread than y'all are over there, and I'm doing not so much work, you know what I'm saying? So he put me on to Jockey Hollow. He changed my life by just giving me the link, yo, come over here and start working. So.
Sure. Were they doing some under the table stuff for you at your busboy job? Because that's how it was when I was busting tables.
Nah, we were getting checks, man, but I was getting paid I don't know, $10 an hour, and then I remember it was a big deal when you got that $1 raise to 11, or maybe it might have been 12. I don't know what it was, but my boy David hit me and he was making triple what I was making. So I was oh, all right. So let me see what that's about.
So 2 questions. How old are you for our listeners so they can have an idea?
I'm 23.
20.
So this is when I was 17. Yeah.
Super
Same
young.
age, yeah, I'm the same
Killing
age,
it,
man.
dude.
You're young as hell.
Okay,
you,
so
man.
that wasn't that long time ago.
Nah, I mean, it feels like a long time to me, but I know people that are older than me are like, yeah, you're a baby, man.
Yeah, that's good. And then besides wanting a job, what was the first thing that like started to attract you to the hospitality, right? Restaurant.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, man, it was nothing but money. Like
Okay.
restaurants to me was okay. I could be young and make a lot of money really fast and be with all my homies.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing but that. Like I didn't start to develop a real interest in it until I was in it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And
Oh, yeah.
I started moving around.
Okay. So after Jockey Hollow, kind of continue your story from there. So how did it kind of pan out?
So, Jockey Hollow, that's a huge part of my career. I mean, I spent 4 years there from 2014 to 2018. And within that, basically I worked really hard when I was there. And, I ended up moving up rank to rank. Like, I started as a back waiter, went up to a food runner, captain's assistant, eventually started taking tables and whatnot. And when I was in the food running phase, I was, like, amazed at what I saw going on in the kitchen. Like, all the high intensity, all the different chefs, all the call outs, the times, the finesse, the plating, you name it. Like, I just thought it was so cool. Like, I couldn't believe what was going on in front of me. And these were all like big time chefs, shout out to Kevin Sipple, like, New York City Michelin star chefs that was just randomly in Morristown at a place that I used to skateboard outside of, the Vail Mansion. So it was just like mind blowing for me. And that's when I really started to get interested in it. But I kept moving up. So I was working front of house, like I was out on the floor. But I would bug the chef all the time, like, chef, when you gonna let me get in the kitchen? Chef, what's up? Let me, you know what I'm saying? And eventually he just was like, all right, come on Sundays, work the brunch shift. Like, that's the shift that nobody in the kitchen wants to work anywhere. I don't care where you work.
Yeah.
Put me on
Like
brunch.
after Saturday night. I don't know.
Yeah. And I was young too. So
Yeah.
remember, I wasn't even part of the like Saturday night crew,
Yeah.
like, So I was, it was a perfect setup for them. I'm
Sure.
sober, super sober.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I would just, I would come in at like 8:30, 9 on Sundays and just be in the weeds and be messing stuff up, trying to learn how to cook and all that. But I loved it. I kept coming back, and I think people just really realized, like, I wasn't the best by any means at anything, but like I kept coming back. I put my head down, I worked and whatnot. So people appreciate that, especially in the restaurant industry.
Hell yeah. Did you, so while you're at Jockey Hollow, did you have any like mentors like that were helping you through the cooking process or learning?
Definitely. I mean, I just got off the phone with Chef Kevin before I got here. Like, you saw me in the parking lot.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't get out of the car right away, I was on the phone with him.
Yeah,
like,
you were in there the whole time. I was like
Yeah.
dropping stuff outside of the van. He
Yeah,
hops
nah.
in. I was like, hey, you here for the podcast?
Yeah. Chef Kevin has been my mentor since day one, man. Like, everything that we're gonna talk about and that you see in my story, like, he was the one that was really like, AJ, you got to make this move. AJ, make sure you don't do that. AJ, like, you know what I'm saying? He really kept me on a straight line, and he showed me, like, how to maneuver through this industry. And, like, I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for him. So I always give the most, thanks and appreciation to him.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
So from Jockey Hollow, what was the pinnacle of Jockey Hollow? Like when do you start navigating the business world, or like what was the steps to start taking your own initiative to a business?
Oh, that came actually like years later. So I when I was at Jockey Hollow, I left for 7 months to go to Italy to study at the Italian Culinary Institute for Foreigners.
Hold on. Let's take a step back real quick here. So how long were you at Jockey Hollow before you did that?
November 2014 until must have been June 2016.
So you're there for like 2 years?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost,
So
yeah.
2 years, and then what made you decide to go to Italy? Like, what was like the driving force?
I mean, it was crazy, man. I was it was just like a really weird period in my life. I had, I'll be honest with y'all, like, I wasn't a great student like my first 2 years of high school, but I made a huge turnaround my junior and senior year. Like, I went from like really bad grades to honor roll the last 2 years.
Hell
So
yeah.
I ended up, getting accepted to a bunch of schools, and I chose to go to FDU because it was right there and I could keep working at Jockey Hollow. That's how much I loved it. And I'm living at one of my friends' house at the time, who I would go on to start this business with. And I'm living at my friend's house. I'm working full-time at Jockey Hollow, and I'm taking full-time, college courses. And it was just too much. And I said to myself, well, I like working in this restaurant more than I like going to school for sure. So I dropped out of school, and my mentality was like, okay, Chef Kevin, he studied in Italy. Like, he's Italian, and the cuisine that we're doing is Italian, and this is, like, really cool to me. I'm passionate about it, so I got to find a way to get to Italy. Like, that's all I was thinking.
Damn.
So I was on my computer, like, I still remember, like, it was a dark time because I just dropped out. I didn't tell anybody, not my family, nobody. And, they're all, like, they watched me come from, like, screw up kid to making it to college and doing all the things I'm doing, and now I just like dropped the bomb, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't even tell anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm gonna get over there to Italy and I'm gonna just show them that way. So I'm looking for schools, and one night I find the school, the Italian Culinary Institute for Foreigners, and I'm like, all right, this looks legit. Let me talk to Kevin about it, see what happens. So I go to the kitchen the next day. I still remember, like, it was lunch service, and you're not supposed to have your phone out. And he was in the middle of expediting, and I just walked right up to him. I was so excited. I was like, Chef, check this school out I found on the internet. Like, what do you think? And he looks at it. He looks at my phone, and he looks at me, gives me this weird look, and he smiles, and he pulls out a picture of his graduation photo from that school from the back of his wallet.
Way.
And so then from there,
That's
like, that was
awesome.
the moment, like, everything clicked, like, and he was like, all right, we're going to do whatever we got to do to get you over there. So, the letters of recommendation and just everything, like, from that moment on, it was like, okay. And I didn't even know it, but it's like, I'm going to be a cook from now on. Like, this is how my life is going to go. So,
Holy shit.
yeah, it's a lot. My story's crazy. Like, I know from, like, if you don't know, like, the little things, like, you're thinking, like, oh, how did you get to start the business? I'm like, that's, like, 6 years later, man. I didn't even
Yeah.
I didn't have none of this was planned, man. Like, this is, I mean, it's a super organic, like,
Hell
how I
yeah.
got here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that happens a lot, right? Like, I don't think that a lot of business goes according to, like, business plan, if you will. Like,
Yeah.
it starts like that sometimes if it's, like, structured, and then it's just, like, things get thrown at you, you throw things out, and it just, you're kind of rocking and rolling.
So how did you go about like getting the funds or whatever to get to Italy? Like, that's a big deal. Like,
Oh, man.
like it's a pretty big investment, and
Yeah.
like specifically, like, it's a life-changing decision, to do this. Like,
To the max, man. Like, and, to be honest, it didn't hit me that it was, like, as serious as you just made it seem until I was on the plane. So, like, honestly, man, I was just like, all right. I remember, like, filling out all the paperwork, going back and forth to the consulate, and then I'm like, okay, I got accepted. Now all I got to do is have, get this money together so I could go. So I'm working crazy hours. Like, I was working, like, 70, 80 hours a week, front of house, back of house, like, anything that I could get to scrape this money together to go. And I made it happen, like, barely, but I made it happen. And, with this, like, you got to make payments. Like, it's not like, it was like, I got accepted, and when you get accepted, you had to pay, like, X amount. And it was, like, 25, then 50%, and then the last 25. It was like that. So
Yep.
I remember that middle payment, I was like, oh.
How long was the school, or, like, is it a year long? Is it 2 years?
It was a 6-month program, and I stayed 7 months. So basically, it was broken up by 3 months of school, 4 months of internship. But what I did was the entire 3 months I was in school, I worked at the restaurant that was connected to the school.
Ooh.
So I was always working. So I never had it. I didn't really, like, go and take, like, a vacation or anything like that. I was just working, going to school, and then when that ended, like, I ended up doing 3 different internships, if you count that, because I went to work at a winery in northern Italy, Trentino Alto Adige, in a town called Mezzo Lombardo. So I would cook all the family meal for all the people picking grapes in the morning, and then I would go out and pick grapes after them. And I'm going to just say right here for the record, that's the hardest work I've ever done in my life.
Damn.
Working on a winery, picking grapes is no joke, man, especially when you get on the mountains and you're like, it's like this, and you, like, if you stumble, you going to roll for a long time, man. Like, no joke. That was the hardest work I ever did. I'll never forget, I used to get home. We would get home at like 6 in the afternoon. I promise I didn't wake up till like 5 the next morning. Every single time, like, just out.
Jeez.
But
So what made you go to like a winery? Because it's kind of different from what you would normally intern with, right?
Yeah, so I was just fortunate, man. I had so many connections from Jockey Hollow. Like, I was cool with all the managers. Like, they all had love for me and respect for me. So, like, I'm telling you about, like, Kevin from the back house perspective, but then I also had Ron Morgan, who was the general manager front of house, who, watched me excel through the ranks and, helped me move along and up and down, So he has a brother, Steve, who's a big wine guy in Chicago, who gets a lot of these wines from Four Door Winery. So he puts the call in, yo, I got this kid, he's going to Italy, get him a, you know what I'm saying?
No
Hook
way.
him up with those
Hell
guys.
yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. And then I just went, you know, like all these things, it's just like the opportunities come to me and I'm just taking them. Like, it's
And you're
kind of
like
always
19
been
at
that
the
way.
time too, right?
I was 18.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was 18.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I was. Oh no, matter of fact, no, I had just turned 19. I think when
That's
I was
crazy,
at
dude.
Floridori, I had
That
just
is
turned
wild.
19. Yeah.
So I think we've talked about a lot of aha moments so far.
Man, that's my whole story. Man.
So what would you say one of your biggest aha moments, like the light bulb just went on, and I mean you kind of highlighted it before, but is that the biggest moment for you? Was it when you started the business? Was it just going to school that was that like?
I gotta be honest, man. Like the biggest moments for me, like, and it might not even be an aha moment, but I just remember like, and I could show y'all the picture later so you could really get the idea. But like when I would go from the dorms to the school, it was like a mile walk, but it was like the most beautiful walk ever. And there's a bridge, and like on this bridge, it's just like you're at the treetops of a huge forest that's on either side. It's not like a bridge from water. It's like a bridge on top of like a forest.
Damn.
So it's like trees, and then like you just see the mountains on either side, and like there were these 3 trees. I'll never forget. It was like one like large, one medium, and one small. And like every time I would walk to school in the morning with the sunrise, I would look at it. And same thing when I would go home at night. And that was always the moment for me every day. I would pause for a couple seconds and just be like, damn, like I'm on the other side of the planet right now.
Yeah.
Like that was always my big moment. And when I went back to Italy the second time, like that was I couldn't wait to go back and see that site again. Like that always just stuck in my mind. Like I can't believe I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest aha moment, I would say, was just like a personal thing, like a realization, like, you know, I've been able to come this far. You know.
Sure.
What kind of training were you getting in those, like, how long was it? You said it was how many months?
The actual school?
Yeah.
The actual school is 3 months.
3 months. But you were there for like 7 or something like that, right?
So the rest was all the different internships that
Got
I
it,
did.
got it.
Yeah.
So in school, like, what were you learning that you couldn't probably learn here, or not couldn't learn, but like, what were some of like the nuances that you learned in Italy?
The thing of school, but then also going to school in the country for the cuisine you're trying to study or trying to that recipe, no matter what, you're not gonna get the real deal.
You get like secondhand shit.
Yeah, which is there's nothing wrong with that.
Right,
but
right.
like if you want the real deal, you gotta go to where it came from. So like, I was coming from like, I had like a target on my back because I'm like the kid that was born in New York, coming from the United States. Like there was only 3 of us out of like. Because there's different courses. There might have been like 9 different courses, but like out of all the kids that were there at this time, maybe 300-400, there were 3 Americans.
Wow.
And I was the youngest.
Wow.
I was the youngest kid on the entire campus. So I had a target, and I was the only American in the master course. So it's like I had a target on my back, like, oh, this kid's from New York. His recommendation was a Michelin star chef, like blah blah blah. So like, and then it was like, but it's clear he just started cooking because I didn't have that much experience.
Right,
you know,
right,
I was
right.
just working when I could in the back of house at Jockey Hollow. So I wasn't that good at all, man. And when I got there, I realized just how not good I was. And so the chef, like, he took a liking to me, the instructor. He took a liking to me because I worked hard and I was trying, you know, with the language and everything. Like, I tried my best at all times. But he was hard on me because he knew, like, I was the kind of kid you could push a little bit.
Right,
so
right.
but we learned everything, man. Like, that's one thing I'll say about that school. Like, they did their due diligence on every single aspect of the Italian cuisine, from bread to pastry, pasta, you know, whatever you could think. Like, we spent several weeks on it, so.
Cool. So, all right. So you're there for 7 months. You actually stayed an extra month.
Yeah. So that's when I was So I went from the restaurant in the school to the winery in northern Italy to Ristorante La Rosa under Chef Andrea La Rosa. That's the Michelin star restaurant I was telling you about. So I did my internship there before they got the Michelin star, and then I ended up going to work there after they got the Michelin star full time.
Damn. Do you know how they get Michelin stars? Like how does that get, like, how does a restaurant get a Michelin? Like you have to be like rated or something like that, right?
Yeah, they got like inspectors like that go around undercover It's it's very intense, man, when you work in places like that. Like, because every night, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, no. And isn't Michelin star literally Michelin who makes the tires?
It's
The-
the
Michelin
tire
guide,
company,
Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I
That's
watched
great.
like a whole documentary on it or something like that.
It's the Michelin guide that's from the
Yeah, which is like crazy because like I'm a car guy, so like when I heard that I was like, really? Like,
Well,
it's like one of
the-
those things you like read a meme, and you're like, is that real? Like,
The idea behind it is what do tires give you the ability to do?
Go anywhere.
Travel. So while you're traveling, these are the restaurants you're supposed to go to.
My family and I tried to go to a Michelin star crepe place in France. It's like $60 crepes. We were like, we're out.
Yep.
I'm sure they were delicious, but my dad could not justify that for a family.
It's
of
worth
six.
just like tasting once.
I'm too loud.
no, talking to the mic.
I'm trying to.
All right, so you do these internships, and now you come back to the States.
Yeah, I came back in December, man. Fresh off the plane, I went right to Jockey Hollow.
Hell
right,
yeah.
right back to the kitchen, like fresh off the I went onto the plane with my work uniform on, and then I took a Uber from the airport from JFK to Jockey Hollow. I got there when they were closing, like not closing. I got there when the kitchen was closing, so everybody was breaking down and cleaning, and I just hopped right back on the line.
Holy shit!
Like, yeah.
Hell yeah!
So that was 2019.
No, that was 2016.
Oh,
Story mad long.
You
right?
got
My
well,
bad.
this is great.
My
we're on
bad,
the
man.
first leg. This is
Yeah,
awesome. Let's
yeah.
keep going. All right, so you're back. You get back in. So how soon are you in the kitchen at Jockey Hollow?
Oh, when I came back, I didn't do any more front of house. Once I went to Italy, I was back at house. Like, that was it.
Done.
Sealed my fate. Yeah.
Okay.
For
So-
better, for worse. You know.
Hell yeah. So how did it feel to now be in like, in your home kitchen,
Uh-huh.
now in the actual
Right.
kitchen, not like, you're back at house.
Uh-huh.
What was it like? Like what were some of your first meals? Was it what you kind of expected because you already been doing it? Like how was it like acclimating back to Jockey Hollow?
I mean, like, you got to understand the whole time I'm in Italy, like, I can't wait to go home and be a part of the, I'm like, I was a food runner for a long time. So, like, I was already a part of the kitchen family. But,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
to be on the line, like, full time every day, like, I couldn't wait for that. You know what I'm saying? I was so excited. I thought about it all the time. So, like, coming home, like, I remember I told Chef, like, yo, Chef, put me on the schedule, but don't put my name. So it's like a surprise, like, and then I'm gonna just show up one day. So that's where I got the idea to just go with my uniform on and all that. But I was really excited, and when I came home, it was like, it was perfect. Like, I was just like elated. I went to work. I remember I went to work every single day, like no later than 9, even though my end time was 2. And I worked, man. I loved doing it, so it was nothing to me. Like, I just wanted to be there.
There you go. About the damn passion. It's amazing.
Yeah.
all right. Quick side question: what's your favorite meal?
Oh man.
Actually, has it also changed since when you got there to now?
I mean, all-time favorite, man, tagliatelle bolognese probably.
Ooh,
Like, because
bolognese, there you
every day, or ragu, whichever one, but every single day after school, in Italy, I used to go to this little kiosk behind the school. There was like ping pong tables, a little like tennis court field, and there's a kiosk and tables and whatnot. And every day after school, I would order a tagliatelle bolognese and a Budweiser. But the Budweiser, it didn't say Budweiser. I guess it was the Italian version. It just said Bud, and I thought that was so cool. So every day I would just eat a whole bowl of pasta and drink a Bud and just be sitting there like, damn, man, I feel like a king right now. Like,
That's awesome.
Did they ever
so
make fun of you for liking American beers?
I told him straight up. I was like, man, I don't like these Italian beers, man.
They're a little light.
Man, I'm not even into beer. Like, I mean, I drink Corona, so I don't.
Yeah.
My opinion's not even valid to begin with. But I never really got into the Italian beers. I was like, oh, y'all got Bud? I'll take that.
Yeah.
So what were some of your first meals at Jockey Hollow, and like were you like delivering what was like expected? Like how was it like? Were you being judged on like your food based on just coming from like an Italian school?
When you say meals, you mean like dishes that I put on the menu?
Yep.
Man, Kevin is crazy, man. Kevin had me putting all types of dishes on the menu. Like, we had a dish on the menu called Cristino Sankofa. Like, I'll never forget, like, he would come on the line and just be like, AJ, we got to come up with a new dish, buddy. I'm like, what? Like, and then he'd just start, he would just be throwing stuff at me. Use this. put it all together, and we would just make stuff, and then like he would taste it, and like he really guided me, man. Like he really like, and it's rare. Like I'm blessed because like he was the kind of guy like he would put things together for me and explain to me like this is why this works. This is the fat component. This is the acidic component. This is the history of it. This is how you could use it in a pasta, in a main course, and you know what I'm saying? Like he really like gave me the whole scope of like how to cook, how to prepare dishes. So like as I moved up in the kitchen, like it wasn't too difficult for me to like find inspiration because I understood from being in Italy and having him as a resource, like the fundamental, you know what I'm saying, of what works.
Yep.
So, this is called the Creative Collective Show. So where do you think, like, explain to us the process, not only from a creative standpoint, right, but from a, I'm at a loss for words, a culinary standpoint of the crossover of being creative and having knowledge, and taking risks within that.
So I definitely started with just being creative and having no knowledge, man. So I got funny stories about that. I think the first pasta I ever made and I brought to chef, and man, they tore me up about that. it was like macaroni with pears and red peppers and broccoli, like all sorts of crazy stuff, raisins, man. I was going crazy. Like
sounds like a good salad.
yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but I say this to say like when I started out cooking, I was just trying to do like crazy, like creative, never been heard before kind of things. And it took me a long time. Like Kevin used to always tell me, like, AJ, you're never going to make anything better than the classics. Like, you're never going to make anything better than cacio pepe or carbonara or, amatriciana. Like, these things are forever famous and household favorites for a reason. Learn how to do this and then make your own versions of them, as you go on. Mm-hmm. And, like, it took, man, when he used to say that to me, I used to be like, man, I'm going to be the next Grand Atkins. Like, I'm going to have, like, balloons floating with, like, crazy stuff. Like, but over time, it clicked, like, yeah, I need to learn the master, the original stuff, and then move forward. So I would say, like, personally, like, everything I do now is super traditional, and I just do it my way. I'm not trying to fool anybody. I'm not trying to put, any sort of crazy, combination together. I'm just trying to take really simple ingredients, prepare them, with my vision, and just make it taste really good. And it doesn't have to be fancy or complex or anything like that. It needs to be good, first and foremost. Like I always say to people, like, you could eat at a Michelin star restaurant, right? You could eat there once a month, once every 2 months, for the experience, for the cool food and whatnot. But you could eat a peanut butter and jelly every day. You could eat spaghetti, tomato, basil every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's more important, like knowing how to do the crazy, coolest gases and foams in this, or knowing how to make a banging PBJ, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to know the fundamentals. You got to know the traditional stuff first.
I like that comparison a lot.
Yeah. No, it's true, though, man.
Yeah, no, it is true.
How many bananas I just ate?
Yeah.
So you talked about your mentors, which is usually one of our questions. So I guess a follow-up question for you is, who is someone that you admire? Maybe you follow on the internet, or you would love to work underneath, or just meet, or you draw inspiration from?
Love this question.
Damn, right now, man, I have to definitely give a shout out to Robbie Felice. If no one knows who that is, he owns 2 restaurants in Jersey, Viaggio and Wayne, and Osteria Crescendo in Westwood, and he's doing like this super cool pasta ramen pop-up thing, and it's so crazy, man. Like he actually came to try and work at Jackie Hollow, like back in the day when I was still a food runner, and like whatever, it didn't work out, and then like next thing I hear, he's opening a restaurant. And then after that, he's opening another restaurant. And now, like, that guy, like, when I wake up in the morning and I see, like, stuff that he's doing, I'm like, I bet I'm about to catch up. Like, like he's doing this thing, and he's putting Jersey on the map. Like, he's letting people know that, like, we got what it takes out here, too. And I love that. So that's definitely someone, especially to be a Jersey chef, like, and to be a part of, like, what I'm a part of, or me be a part of what he's a part of. Like, that's someone that I admire, definitely, for sure. Like, and someone that continues to drive me to want to keep doing what I'm doing, and, that, like, really push the narrative forward.
Yeah, like a little friendly competition in a way.
Oh, not even
Well, not even competition,
not even
but
in
like,
a competitive way.
yeah.
Like I'm being honest. Like I look at the stuff that he's doing and I'm like, bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's inspiring. Because I'm not cutthroat or anything like that. No matter what kitchen I worked in, like I was never into the like super competitive part of it. I always just wanted to like make good food, genuinely. It's a lot of cutthroat. Like in this industry, you're gonna meet a lot of different people that have a lot of different agendas. I was never into that. So like when I say like it's not even a competitive thing, it's really not. I really respect what he's doing, and that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to keep doing what I'm doing. Having like a it's like a conceptual team in your head. Like, this is the Jersey Chef Squad. We just keep, pushing forward.
So to kind of break off on what you kind of said, do you feel that New Jersey, similar to like some other industries, gets overlooked by New York? We're in New York's shadow?
Yeah, I mean, we are. And, I mean, in a way, like, it's like, on one hand, from one perspective, it's kind of valid. I mean, we obviously don't have the same amount of restaurants to begin with, let alone like high caliber, high quality, bang for buck restaurants. Facts are facts. But what I will say is the talented people that we do have here in New Jersey are up there with the talented people that are in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like, when I was working in New York, like I got so much pushback from being from Jersey, and I was like, what? Like, this is real? Like, come on, man. Like, we're working together, right? Like, So I would say, like, people are gonna see, like, when you got guys like Robbie, guys like Anthony Bucco that are just like doing their thing, and like I'm on the come up too. Like, people are gonna see that there's talent out here too, and I think, especially because of the pandemic, like the focus is gonna shift a little more, like a little more wide range instead of just being like Manhattan, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Do you think that the draw to being a New York City chef is just the clout of it? Like, obviously there's some higher end restaurants there,
Of course, yeah.
but there's choking on my spit again. There's higher end restaurants here as well, but maybe not to the caliber of that. Is that what drives people there? Because like, you would think if you're opening up your own restaurant, like New Jersey's just as good, and half the price of rent.
Well, you got to think from a chef's perspective. Like, there's no Michelin stars in Jersey. Like,
Literally? There's zero.
No, the books aren't open here.
Oh.
So, if I were chasing Michelin stars, of course I'm gonna open a restaurant in Manhattan if I have the opportunity.
Like Mario chasing stars, baby.
But seriously,
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
That's the
Wow.
that's the reality. Like, if you like, and I went through a point in my career where I was like really focused on trying to, like when I was working in a Michelin star restaurant, my only goal was to get 2 stars there. So if you're in that mode and you're in that zone and you have a choice between opening a restaurant in New York or New Jersey, you're gonna choose New York by default, automatic. There is no comparison. But when you get out of that and when you come to the realization that I did, like, that goes back to the peanut butter and jelly thing. It's like, you can make good food anywhere, and it doesn't matter if the Michelin guide says it's good or not.
Yeah.
It matters what your customers say.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of the best food I had was from a food truck, like, which is crazy.
What,
You know what I mean?
That is true.
Like, have you ever had a taco, bro?
You
know what I'm saying? Like,
So, are there any other places like besides Jersey that are like that have no Michelin stars? Just like
yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah?
Plenty of states in the United States. Yeah.
Huh.
There's way more states in the United States that the Michelin guide does not report in than there are that they do.
I feel like it's got to be that correlation between, like, New York has like the film industry and the fashion. Like, there's so much other stuff going on there, and so much money being pumped into New York City that, like, why would there not be Michelin star restaurants?
And that's the other thing too, the money, man. Like, because
you gotta find someone to finance your restaurant, all that kind of stuff, right?
People, like, and this is another thing I really want to bring awareness to. Like, the general public does not understand how much money it takes to run a restaurant for it to not even make money.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm serious,
So it's like
man.
break even kind of deal.
People complain about prices. People complain about, like, they have no idea. Like, there's no money in restaurants. there's no money in restaurants. There's barely any money in the food industry. So like every single restaurant you go to, every chef you meet, every cook, you gotta understand that they like 90% of them are doing it because they really love what they do, you know. And it, like, it's the most selfless job. Like you even if you are like one of those Michelin star chefs that's all over TV, this and the third, like you're in the 1%. But even then, like, you know what it takes to get there, you know, like so. I really want people to understand too, like this industry is like, there's no like like one track path to success. Like you gotta really go way out of your way to get even the littlest amount out of it, you know?
Yeah. What do you think about Dave Portnoy and what he did over the last couple months helping out restaurants?
I mean, anybody that's doing anything, you know, I'm gonna always commend.
Yeah.
I mean, because not a lot of people do. I mean, like, what did the government do?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, seriously though.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
think about how many restaurants are there in Morristown?
40, 50.
Like,
more.
I mean, like compared to other establishments or any other industry. Like, I mean, every street you walk on, there's a place to eat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how many restaurant employees do you think there are in Morristown?
2,000 at least.
Then Morris County.
Yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Northeast. United States. Whole world. Like, it's crazy. So to think that all those people and there was no government aid like geared towards.
It's probably the most visited type of business across the board for anyone.
Because everybody has to eat.
Yeah, like if you think about it that way, like it's probably by far the most visited or used, whether you go there or not, order out, whatever it may be.
Yeah, because it's also across every demographic, no matter how old, young, you know.
Can you not karate chop the microphone?
Karate chop one more time.
Okay, so I have another question, and this one's another one of those like kind of like thoughts take you back a little bit. What's something that you wish that you knew that when you started?
When I started in the restaurant industry?
Yeah, like something, whether you know when you started your business or something that you're like.
Well, we also have to get to the business point.
We're gonna.
We're not even there yet.
We're gonna.
Man,
we're at 40 minutes. We might go, you know, an hour and 20, guys.
Let's go.
Strap in.
We've already been talking for 40 minutes. No way.
Yeah, 38.
Wow.
Let's go.
Hey, like you said, it's a long story.
We've
I'm
got-
having fun.
we
I
really-
like it.
I was going to tell you before we started, like, listen, man, you might have to.
I mean, we've talked for
3
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you
3
talk
hours.
with Rob
Okay,
for it?
Yeah, we started cutting it down, like realizing
Trying
that
to.
our numbers were a little bit better when they're shorter.
Of
but
course, yeah.
yeah. Oh, quick thing. Yo, if you guys are joining us on Facebook Live, smash that like button, hit the share button, leave a comment for Chef AJ.
Do a comment #live.
Yeah. Yeah. Comment #live if you're joining us live. Comment #replay if you're watching the replay. If you're listening on any platform, hit that subscribe button. Literally, all of the people that we interview are awesome, inspirational. They'll just make you feel like you're going to get up and go do something.
Go dominate that world, achieve your goals.
I'm not that inspirational, but I'll work on that. Hold on.
Can the stream hear that?
I was
Okay.
waiting
Yeah.
for that, man. You know, all these questions you've been asking. Yeah.
All
All
right.
the time, I'm like, when is he going to bring them effects?
All right. So, yeah, like let's just talk about something that you wish you knew that really helped you, or like something you would tell another, you know, someone that's trying to even get to where you've gotten so far.
Man, you know, everybody wishes they knew everything, you know. I mean, pertaining to this industry, one thing I wish I knew, just, I think when I went into it, I was so excited about what I was doing and how passionate I was about it that I didn't realize, like, how much it would take away from, like, my actual life, my family, like, any relationships that I had, like, it was like, and I guess it's, you know, like I said, I was excited, but like if I could have somebody really like, cause I mean people tried to tell me here and there, but like it didn't register, so I can't even say I wish I had someone tell me, cause people did, but like I wish that I spent more time considering the fact that choosing this path was going to mean like that life that you knew before you worked in a restaurant is no longer going to exist, you know. And now it's weird, like I don't work in a restaurant and I work even more because I have my own business, and we're in a pandemic, so it's like there's so many layers to it. But like, you know, when you like, you know, you're selling your soul a little bit because like, I mean, I missed out on a lot of things, man. Like growing up a young kid, like not making birthdays, not making Mother's Day, not making, you know, Christmas, not making New Year's, not making
all the major holidays.
You know, and my mother lives in North Carolina, so like, you know, if before I could just be like, all right, I'm gonna hop on a plane, like, I mean, I've gone like over a year, like, you know, close to 2 years without seeing her because you know, I gotta work. Like, that's just how this industry is. So like,
damn,
I just wish I knew. Like, I wouldn't even say I wish I knew. I wish I knew how I would feel about it over time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Over time, you know, no matter how much you love it, how much you into it, because I'm into it, but it's going to take a toll on you. You got to learn how to maneuver. You got to learn how to deal with those emotions and keep, you know what I'm saying? And then also understand that, like, people, you know, your family, your friends, like, things around you are going to change, and you're not even going to be aware of it. Like, it might feel to you like, you know, one day it was like this and another day it was like that, but really it was months and weeks and whatever of you just not being a part of the day-to-day with that person or with this, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, and then, so that's definitely like a big thing, man, like for young guys. And I tell young guys all the time, like, listen, if you love it, do it, but understand, like, what I'm telling you is the truth. Like, your life is gonna change, and you really are gonna need to, like, you know, like you said, strap in, because you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out with this. Like,
yeah. Was there anyone in your family, friends, when like that, were any like naysayers or anyone that was like, yo, you're crazy for doing this, or like you're not gonna make it? Yeah.
Are you kidding me, man? I dropped out of school to work in a restaurant, man.
Yeah, so how was that? Like,
yeah.
like how did you overcome that? Because like that's a big deal that like a lot of people have to like wrap their head around, and it's like, you know, a lot of it's family. Like they're telling you, you know, they have this path for you in their head, and then you have to almost like disappoint them, you know, and say like, hey, I'm gonna follow my dreams, and like, so what was that like? How did you overcome that?
Well, I mean, like I told y'all earlier, like I dropped out of Fairleigh Dickinson University, and I didn't tell anybody. Like, I didn't tell anybody, you know. I was living in my homie's crib, and I didn't even tell him, you know. So like because like I said, I was getting bad grades freshman, sophomore year, and then I turned my whole life around, honor roll, junior, senior year, you know. My whole, like, what's that thing you gotta write for the common application? That story.
Oh yeah, you're
The cover letter.
it's like
thing?
it's like a personal essay.
Yeah, whatever that.
Personal anecdote.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't
whatever.
ask me.
I did that.
I'm like you. 2
Yeah.
weeks in college. No, I'm good. I'm done.
Nah, I only bring that up to say that, like, my whole, like, personal essay, whatever that was about my transformation. So like I did that, like, on a huge scale, and it meant a lot, not only to me, my life, my future, but to my family. So to basically, like, throw that in, you know, out the window was like, I already knew what it was gonna be. So, and then, like, when they found out, man, they were not having it. Like, nobody in my family was having it.
Were you in school for anything like particular, or are you just going for like general?
Nah, I was majoring in marketing. It's funny because I do a lot of that now.
There you go.
But yeah, I was like, you know, marketing because, like, I like to talk to people. I feel like I could sell things.
Sure.
Maybe. But I just, you know, that was something, you know, business. Like, I wanted to do something business wise. So, but yeah, I mean, back to what you were saying. Like, I mean, my mother literally said to me over the phone, like, you want to be a waiter when you're 50 years old? And like, I didn't even, like, I remember I was silent because I was like, damn, well, how do I tell her that I just really like doing this? Like,
Yeah.
Like, because at the time I'm front of house, just dabbling in back of house. You know, I wasn't even like, you know, a full-time back house employee. I was working in the back house a lot, but, you know, and I just, you know, even, or with my grandma, my aunt, like, my father, like, they, you know, nobody could understand. And around that time is when I really started realizing, like, you know, nobody's going to see your vision the way you do. Nobody's going to, like, no matter how hard you try and how, you know, how much you communicate it, like, you can't get in somebody's head. They can't get in your head. So I remember one day I was just like, yo, I just got to show them, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's when I started doing all the research, you know, for Italy and whatnot. I think I kind of did it. I think I kind of started doing the research for that school in Italy, like while I was in the process, or while they were in the process of finding out, because they actually found out from the friend that I was living with's mother. Like it was a whole thing. Like she came to my house, man. It was bad.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, you gotta like if you. I can't even say if you know what you're doing, but if you are like. If you're like me, like I'm very strong-minded, like I like maybe that's not the right word for. I'm stubborn, like
Yeah.
once I get an idea in my head, like you know what I'm saying. Even if everybody in the world is like that's not gonna work, you can't do that. Those flavors don't mix. This idea, I'm like,
I'm gonna try it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I was gonna say, like you talked about how you were able to flip high school like that, like. Was
Yeah.
there any part of you that was like, well, you guys saw what I was able to do with like just willpower, like, just changing my grades? Like, is there any part of you that was like, I can do this with cooking too?
Yeah.
honestly, I didn't even want to argue. Like, I didn't even, cause it's like
that.
I couldn't even. Like I said, like when my mother had said that to me, like I was just like, if I tell you that I love doing this and that's how you feel about it, then what else can I really say?
Right.
So I didn't even want to like, oh, well, you see what I did, or you know I could do it. Like it wasn't even like that. It was like, just watch me work. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
So all right. So you're in Jockey Hollow, back, right? You're back in the States.
That was your first tour, and
first
Yeah.
story, yeah.
All right. So what came next? What was that after that?
A lot of changes in my life, man. So when I came back to Jockey Hollow, a lot of things were different. You know, like I just said, like in restaurants and your life in restaurants, they change a lot. Like when you're not there. So when I came back to Jockey Hollow, like a lot of things were different. The first thing I definitely remembered is like when I came back into the kitchen was like I could see the wear and tear. You know, you haven't been somewhere in a long time, you come back. Like I remember going in the kitchen being like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just looked like a little faded and things were definitely older and, you know, whatnot. But long story short, I mean, it was like, you know, things had changed, but, you know, we were still doing the same thing. We still had the core team in the front and the back. But then, like, Chef Kevin actually ended up leaving, like, 4-5 months after I came back from Italy, which, like, I never saw that coming.
Wow.
He ended up taking an executive chef position at the Buffalo Club, which is the first restaurant he ever worked in as a kid. So he's got a crazy story, too. And I would actually go on later on to actually go work with him up there, but that's a couple years down the line. So, you know, when he left, the executive sous chef left, like 3 of the front of house managers left. Like we got a huge, like we just lost like half of our like we were the Patriots before, and then we like turned into like, I don't know, what's a bad NFL team right now?
The Warriors 3 years ago. The Golden in basketball, not football, but the Warriors after they lost all their team.
Right. It was like one of those.
They're trash now.
And man, it just was like, we were so understaffed and we were just working like dogs, man, in the back of house. Like, and the crazy thing was like, cause you know, at restaurants, like I just said, there's no money in them. So like, we had half the staff and we were still doing the same amount of business. So just, you know, put that into your head. Like,
So now you're doing double the amount of work, probably more.
80 hours, man.
Yeah.
Like I was getting in every day, like 9. And like, we were so short staffed that we'd be cleaning sometimes till like midnight, 1 a.m. Like,
Damn.
When I was in Italy, it was worse. Like in Italy, I was pulling 100-hour weeks.
Jesus
like
Christ.
During the truffle season in Alba, like you working 100 hours a week. Like, there's no
God.
way around it. Like you get in at 9, you leave at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that for me in America. So like, and the difference between doing that in a Michelin star restaurant with 30 seats and a restaurant with 5 floors or 3 different floors, 5 different concepts, doing like 600 covers on a Saturday, like it takes a toll on you. So it just like the environment became like
Toxic.
super, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it grew more and more over time over the next couple of years, but it just like, you know, it was like a pivotal moment for me, because it was like my whole thing was, you know, like I said to y'all before, Chef Kevin played such a big role. When he left, it was like, okay, not that I'm on my own now, but in my head, it kind of was that way. Like he was like, you know, leading me through.
Sure.
So then it was like my time to like really, like
Spread your wings.
yeah,
Get out there.
and I definitely did. I mean, I was holding it down. Like all of us that were there, man, all the sous chefs that stayed and the cooks, like we were tight knit and we did what we could. We definitely went as hard as we could, and we ended up actually getting a new chef. So what? Kevin left in like April. We ended up getting a new executive chef, I think, in like October, I think.
Okay.
And then that was like a whole different, like, then you learning how to work with a new chef who, has different ideas, different cuisine, different, systems, everything different from what you've been doing in this kitchen. And like it's weird, man, because when I left Jockey Hollow, I was the person in the kitchen that had worked there the longest. And I was one of the people in the restaurant, period. And that's a big place if y'all not familiar with it. It's a huge place.
Yeah.
I was one of the people in the restaurant in general that had worked there the longest.
Damn.
So like all the trials and errors, all the systems, all the things that I like saw that worked and didn't work over the years, and then seeing like, or just like experiencing like having someone new come in and like, he might try something that we already tried before and it failed, but he wants to try it because when you're the chef, you gotta, you gotta take the reins. So like you can't blame him, right? But like, it's kind of a weird situation to be in when
Chef that is mastering all of the styles of food.
So I can't speak on what it's going to be now. I know they're definitely going to be changing up their operation because of COVID and whatnot.
Sure.
But, when I was working there, we have 2 kitchens in Jockey Hollow. The upstairs kitchen does all the hot food for all the floors of the restaurant. And then the downstairs kitchen does the like private events and the oysters and the pastry and whatnot.
Cool.
And there was one executive chef. I mean, I don't think that will ever change. There's always just one chef.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 different types of 3 restaurants in one, or are they?
So
like, how is it broken down?
Originally, it was you had the dining room, which was the fine dining, 4 or 6-course tasting menu. Then you had the oyster and veal bar that had the same menu, which was more casual. And then there was a lot of different things going on.
It's a pretty interesting place. Like
yeah, like but I put it to you this way: like when I left, though, like what I'm trying to say is how I just said that was all spread out with. It used to be that Rathskeller food was coming from the downstairs kitchen, and there was a chef down there doing that. That there was an executive sous chef that was doing that, and the private events. But by the time I had left, like everything was coming from upstairs except for desserts and oysters. So it all got like your menu.
Compressed, yeah.
Everybody, like if you have for example 5 dishes on your menu, now you have 8. So and like. That place is nothing but space and staircases. So it gets crazy, man. It gets busy. Like, it gets busy in there. Like, I still, to this day, I've never worked in a restaurant that got busy the way Jockey did. I mean, you literally, like, for 2 hours, forget about it. That's, you can't. Every day, I took my phone and threw it in the drawer. And every day at 5 o'clock, I would do that, and I wouldn't see my phone until, like, 10:30. And I mean, not that I would use it anyway, but it was that intense. Like, I had to take everything out of my pockets, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really had to lock in. Like, we got busy, man, super busy.
So after you left Jockey Hollow, what was your next steps? Because I know you went back to Italy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I left Jockey Hollow like the week before Christmas or something like that, and I was like, man, for the first time in 4 or 5 years, I'm gonna spend Christmas with my family.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Just relax with my family for once, and that was great, man. I'm so glad I did that because I haven't done it since until COVID.
Damn.
So like you see how it works in this industry.
Yeah. And what year was that?
That was 2018.
2018.
No. That was
2017.
No, that was 2018. Yeah, 2018. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then by end of January 2019, I went up to work with Kevin again at the Buffalo Club.
Oh, no way.
And yeah, so he put me up. I was staying at his house actually, and then I ended up staying with one of the sous chefs as well, and that was great, man. Like going back to like my original chef, original mentor, and like in a totally like an environment where I could learn again, cause like we got so busy and short staffed at Jockey to the point where it was like, I don't want to say I wasn't learning, like, because you can always learn, but, like, the environment wasn't geared towards learning. The environment was geared towards doing whatever you possibly could to get your station set up just pushing the food out. You know,
Yeah.
There was no time for creativity. You're just like, there's
it
go.
was just So when I went to Buffalo, it was like, oh man, like I'll never forget. I tell people this all the time. Like when things got bad at Jockey, my book, you know, every chef has like a little black book. You know, they write all their recipes in. From the time that things, like, really, I'll be honest with you, from the time Chef Kevin left Jockey Hollow, and then from the time I left, so I think that was like 2 years, something like that, I had like 4 pages front and back of information that I had written down between those like 2 years. Now, mind you, like before that, there was like maybe 40 pages when I was working with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to go work with him again for 2 months, filled out 17 pages.
Damn.
Wow.
In 2 months. And that's not like, you know, I'm just using that to like for you to understand like just how different the environments were and like how refreshing it was to be in a place where I was retaining information again and trying things and, you know, doing things that
Doing,
I was
like, new
interested
stuff.
in.
Yeah.
So it was great, man. And then while I was there, I was already like trying to get back over to Italy because I had, you know, like I said, I worked at Ristorante La Rosa before they got the star. And the year after I worked there, they got the star.
Oh, damn.
So, you know, I was part of the crew that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You helped them get there.
I don't want to say all that, but, you know, like,
I was on the team.
I was like busboy, you know, like water boy, but I was there though.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So then I was like, well, like the chef and I, we always kept in contact. So like, you know, I expressed to him, you know, I just left Jockey Hollow. You know, I'm up in Buffalo right now, trying to figure out if I could get back over to Italy. You know, I was supposed to go to France, man. Or that was actually my plan, but like in my head, I'm like, well, if I got the opportunity to work in this restaurant and get that star on my resume and ultimately like be a real full-time cook there instead of just an intern, like, you know, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And that was a hard decision because a lot of people were telling me like, well, if you go to France, you'll get a whole nother cuisine on your resume and a whole new country and a whole new language and whatnot. And you know, those are all valid statements. But like I said, I'm stubborn, man. So like once I get those ideas, like I guess it paid off seeing where I am now. But you know, when I got the idea of like how I was gonna do things and why I wanted to do it, I was like, nah, this is what I'm doing. So I just basically was in contact with him, and he was like, you know, we're going to figure it out. So I stayed in Buffalo until he gave me the green light, like, okay, you know, I talked to the school, you know, figured out some loopholes, get you a visa, blah, blah, blah. So from there, I was like, all right, I left Buffalo. I was there for like 2.5 months.
Buffalo, the restaurant, or Buffalo, like New York?
Buffalo, New York, yeah. I was living in Buffalo, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I came back to Morristown. And while I was in Morristown, this is actually a funny story. I tried to work with Robbie Felice, who I was telling you about. I tried to work for him for those like 6 weeks before I was supposed to ship out for Italy, like just for free. Like I just wanted to be an intern. But he had told me he had interns, or you know, they were kind of full, you know, at the time. So I wasn't able to get in over there. And just like this is another aha moment you're looking for. This is a crazy story, man. I was in New York because I had to go to the consulate to hand in my visa paperwork. Cool. I'm over there. I get out of the consulate, and then I'm about to go over to the Lincoln Tunnel, where I'm actually right by the Lincoln Tunnel. I'm getting gas. There's a gas station like 2 blocks away. I went inside to get like, I don't know, like peak, and spent those extra time. Just left the consulate. I'm getting gas, about to go home. All right, I'm gonna text you an address. Go there, talk to these guys. I'm like, all right, real mafia like, but
Damn.
you know, Chef Kevin tells you do something, you do it. So I'm like, okay. He sends me the address.
Unplug and replug. Sorry, guys. If you guys are hearing a buzzing on the stream. Oh, it's that one. And it's back. It's definitely that one.
That's weird that it just started happening, though.
I know. Whose mic is that?
Is it?
Is
Y'all
Hold
touch
on.
this?
We'll edit this out. Talk.
Yeah,
It's his mic.
Hold on, we're going to take a quick break. Hold on one sec. Zach, write that in your notes.
What? That's so
Hour, 1
weird.
minute. Yeah, grab a banana. I'm just gonna mute the stream here. Guys, we'll be right back. I'll figure this thing out.
Oh, you muted me?
Yeah.
And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Well, real quick plug then. Thank you for joining us on the Creative Collective Show. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Caster. Well, I don't even know all the names. Just follow us, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Strix Media NJ. We are a We are a New Jersey-based video production and photography company. We do a little bit of other things, but we'll just leave it at that. If you are joining us on Facebook or YouTube, comment #live, leave us a comment, let us know, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit all of the buttons, tell your grandma, you know. All right, so we were just talking to AJ, and all right, so you got an address.
Yeah.
Chef Kevin, right?
Chef Kevin, yeah.
Chef Kevin calls. He said he
back
calls.
to Chef Kevin.
You just go.
Yeah, you don't have a choice, man.
I like that. I
don't
that.
want to hear what he has to say if I tell him I didn't go. So,
Where are you right now? Too?
I'm on.
I think you said you were getting gas at some gas station.
Yeah, I could almost tell you the street name. I'm on I must have been on 10th Avenue.
And you're just coming back from the consulate?
From the consulate, yeah. So I'm coming from the consulate. I realize I need gas. I'm on my way to the Lincoln Tunnel. Boom, boom, boom. Stop to get gas, and I'm right by the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah, you know exactly. If you saw,
Yeah, it's
like
like
right by a Hell's Kitchen, right?
Yeah. Right underneath. It's like one of the gas stations that has the bodega you can walk into. So so he calls me, he texts me the address, and the address is like 1 minute away driving.
That's crazy.
It's West 38th. So I pull up, and it's I couldn't really tell what it was because the big sign says Henry Hall. It looks like big, huge apartment buildings, but I see like on the side there's like a restaurant kind of thing going on, like a cafe, because in the front they got Victor's Cafe. So I just see like a little espresso bar and stuff like that. So anyway, I go in there, and Chef Kevin tells me I'm supposed to talk to a guy named Sean, right? So I'm standing there. I tell, like, I don't know, a barista must have been. I tell him I'm looking for Chef Sean, or like I'm supposed to meet with Chef Sean. And I'm standing there for like maybe 25 minutes. Like,
damn.
No joke. Just like standing there, like, like.
What did this guy get me into?
Right, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, well, I got to find out, right? So, man, this is crazy, man. Chef Sean comes out. This dude is 6'10" tall, man. And I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, what is going on? Like, because in this restaurant, like, it's a whole different vibe. Like, the uniform is like, it's like there's pictures of me wearing it. It's like a collared chef shirt that's like short sleeves, and like, I don't know, man. It just like everybody looked like they was working at an office almost, kind of. So like this giant comes out to greet me, like, and when I'm telling you, this dude is tall, like super tall and lanky too. So like, he's so tall that he's like ducking under stuff while we're walking.
Exit side.
And he like big dude, so like he goes and we shake hands, and he like shakes my hand and lifts me off the ground a little bit and puts me down. Like, I'm like, damn, what's going on? So anyway, he takes me around, like shows me the kitchens, shows me like the private dining kitchen and the this and that. Like, so now I'm realizing like Chef Kevin's hooking me up with a place, because I had explained to Kevin I wanted to work with Robbie and I couldn't, like it didn't work out. And I guess he without even thinking or telling me, he just pulled the strings. So now I'm in this restaurant, and I get to talking to Chef Sean, and then it turns out that this is the Delicious Hospitality Group, which is owned by Chef Ryan Hardy, who has 3 restaurants in New York. He has Charlie Bird, Pasquale Jones, and Legacy Records. So the biggest aha moment came when I realized that when I was a food runner back in 2015, Chef Ryan actually came and did a guest chef dinner at Jackie Hollow with Kevin. And I'll never forget that day, because in our pre-shift, all the front of house managers were so dead serious. They were like, this is going to be a silent kitchen today. Nobody talks. Nobody speaks unless they're spoken to. Everybody, you need to be in there just like ready to go. Like, they even had steamers. They were like, we want you to like steam your shirt, like if your shirt is wrinkled. Like, it was such a serious day. Damn. And Chef Ryan is kind of tall. He's not tall like Sean, but he's like 6'2" or whatever, 6'2", 6'3" maybe. So like, even he back then, I was like, I don't know, 5'9", so like 5'8" maybe. So back then, like, even Chef Ryan was tall, but I remembered his voice the Chef Ryan. So when I finally met him, that's when I was like, man, this world just gets smaller and smaller no matter where I go. Like, so long story short, I end up starting to work in Manhattan. I end up working at Legacy Records, and I had offered to work for free for Robbie, and I thought it was just gonna be the same deal, except I was coming to New York, and I was cool with that, and they ended up paying me like a really nice hourly rate for just those 6 weeks. So I'm like, damn, like, sometimes things just work out like that, funny, like.
Yeah.
And so now I'm working in Manhattan, and I didn't even have I wasn't even thinking about Manhattan ever.
Was that your first time working in Manhattan?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So that's another like checkbox, right? Like,
yeah.
Very cool.
So I was I was just working there. Like, I would take the train from Morristown because it goes right in.
Yeah.
I would walk from Penn Station down to West 38th, and that it was like the CDC there, Henry Zamora. He, like I was telling y'all before, he was he was the sous chef at Quince. That's a 3 Michelin star spot. He was chef de partie at the French Laundry. That's a 3 Michelin star spot. So he's like a really, really well renowned chef. So like I was saying to y'all earlier, everywhere I went, like I was always working under Michelin trained chefs. Like, fortunately for my career.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it was an awesome experience. They were using the best quality products. They were using great techniques. They had a great team. And I did what I always do, put my head down, work. Yes chef, no chef. Didn't really speak much, and they took a liking to me there as well. So when I come back from Italy, that ends up being the restaurant that I work at up until the pandemic.
And what was the name of the restaurant again?
Legacy Records.
Legacy Records.
Yeah,
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it actually used to be a recording. There was a recording studio there.
Cool. And what kind of food did they have?
Same Italian driven, like fine dining.
Love Italian, baby.
Yeah, I was always in that's just how it worked out for me. Like, especially going towards the pastas, like every single restaurant I've worked at my entire career, I always worked the pasta station. If not right when I started, eventually.
So quick question. Was Italian food like your favorite kind of cuisine before working there?
I mean, I didn't have a favorite cuisine, man. I ate like chicken nuggets.
Dino chicken nuggets.
Seriously, man. I was like, I grew up on like, my family cooked on Sundays, or still does, and we cook on holidays, and my family's from the South, or my father's side of the family's from the South, so, I grew up on that kind of food, mac and cheese, fried chicken, comfort food, yeah, like coleslaw, fried fish.
I'm starving.
Where are those bananas?
Yeah, where'd they go?
I took them out the frame. I didn't want anybody to know our little secret.
Bananas and Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. Poor people's ears, dude.
What? Crazy.
Anyway, so what's another style of food that you would like to work in maybe ever, or that you were like interested but you never really got yourself into?
Japanese for sure.
Japanese.
And that goes back to why I was saying like what Robbie is doing is so cool, because now he's doing this pop-up where he's doing like a pasta ramen thing, so like wafu Italian style food. And my plan, my master plan was always to go Italy, France, Japan. So like Japanese cuisine was always on my bucket list for something to master. So I've like, now it's like I almost want to say I could skip France, because seeing how he's doing this combination is just like really dope. So definitely Japanese. But like, if we're talking past tense, man, I never thought about any of this. Like,
that's crazy.
I never had any, like, not to say I didn't care, it just never occurred to me. I never thought about food more than like, I want a burrito. I want wings. I want pizza. Like, I ate Domino's and Pizza Hut and Tito's burritos growing up. Like, fine dining had nothing to do with my life at all. Like, fine dining for me was like going to like Maggiano's, or like Macaroni Grill or Houston's, like something like that.
Macaroni Grill's gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Is it done for?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I went there once though, and being 100% Italian, it wasn't that bad. It's pretty good.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a fine dining restaurant, but if they make a banging lasagna, they make a banging lasagna. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What's that? Carrabba's?
Carrabba's
Yeah,
Italian.
yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
Let's have pasta tonight.
Yeah.
That's their slogan.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, let's have pasta.
Yeah.
I want to have pasta every night. All right. So you come back from Italy. You're working at the restaurant in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
So I'm working pasta station when I got rehired, or not I guess I did technically get rehired. When I came back, they said they needed a guy on pasta station, so I started working pasta station. And man, when you go from, I was saying this earlier, when you go from working in a Michelin star restaurant with 30 seats, so you're doing like 15 to like 25 covers a night on average, to going.
What does a cover mean?
Per people. So
okay.
like right now we're 4 covers. We're 4 top right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, 4 top I get. Yeah. Cool.
So 4 covers. Whatever.
And then before you go on, because I don't want to cut you off in the middle of it, what does the pasta station mean? Because like in my head, I think I know what you're like. Assuming what that would look like, right? But what does that look like?
That's actually a really good question, because what that looks like is different depending on where you're working.
Sure.
So when I worked in Italy and I worked the pasta station, I myself made all of the pastas on the menu and cooked them and plated them, myself and the chef. Because usually when you're working like a Michelin star spot, like the chef usually does all the plating. But like we were so small that like when it would get busy, you would get like that extra responsibility sometimes. Mm-hmm. But, like, if we were all under control, like, I was making all the pastas, cooking all the pastas, and then you just hand everything to the chef, and he puts everything on the plate. In America, everywhere that I've worked, there's a pasta production team. So you got a team of people or a person that makes all of the pasta, and then you are just the person from whatever time the restaurant opens to when they close that cooks it and plates it.
So are you producing the pasta before the shift? Or is it like being literally made? Like what's, I guess the pasta's be made a day before, 2 days before, 3 days.
No. Oh. So that's actually another good question. I'm glad you're asking these. So there were times in Italy that we would actually like make the pasta to order, physically make it and cook it to order.
Like right through the machine.
Yeah, like roll it out, pipe the filling, flip, pinch, roll, like. Boom, like really making agnolotti to order. Yeah. And then like scooping it up and dropping it in the water. That's beautiful.
I love that.
But that doesn't happen in America. Or at least where I've worked. Usually what happens is the pasta is made fresh every day by the production team during the day, and then you're just the guy cooking it at night.
Sure.
Got it.
So, and that's what I always did in America. I never actually this is why it's so crazy that I decided I wanted to go to Italy the second time, because when I went to Italy the second time, that's when I really got good at making pasta. Like, I knew how to do it. Like, it's not hard to do. But to really understand it, all the nuances, like the finesse, the technique, the reasons why you're doing the things you're doing, I learned that the second time. And I wouldn't have been able to start this business without that. Like, so it's just funny how it all worked out. But
now is that also a part of like how to make the dough part and like
everything
from
start to finish?
That's crazy.
The dough is probably one of the hardest things, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
maybe once you get it down, you got it.
The thing about it is, and what I was trying to say is, anybody could make a pasta dough. I mean, I wouldn't even have to give anyone here instructions. If I gave you some flour and eggs, you could figure it out.
Yeah.
Understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, and how choosing to do one thing versus another and what will happen, that's when you really start to understand what pasta is. Like, understanding what flour is going to give you what. Like, this flour will give me the ability to extend and stretch it a lot. This flour will make it really tight and rigid. This flour will make the pasta, eat like this in your mouth, and this one will make it super, like.
I'm assuming that different pastas have different techniques in the dough itself.
Always, yeah.
Sounds like chemistry to me.
Well, food is
similar
science.
to that, yeah.
Food is science. Like it. People that work, and especially the higher up you get into food, like food is really science. Like it's all science. Even at the lowest level, like it can be broken down into like really just.
Now, is there also like a variable in there for how long you're kneading it for?
Everything.
All that stuff.
Anything that you could think of, it's been, like anything that you're thinking of from the outside looking in has already been thought about, processed, documented, books about it. Like,
wow,
it's a whole world. But it's just like me. Like when I came into here and I saw, like I took photography in high school. I know a little bit. But y'all got wires and cords and y'all talking all these different terminologies. I don't understand any of it.
Yeah.
And I could ask you a question and you'd be like, bro, there's so much that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So it's just, there's always, whatever you do, you're like, I'm a nerd in my world just because I'm passionate about it. Same way someone that's doing what you're doing, or if you play basketball, or if you're going to be a nerd because that's what you do. So
yeah. All right, so let's get to Esso. Let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them because I have some business questions because you've made a big splash here in New Jersey so far. So
Thank you.
a lot of talking about you. So so where do we go? Lead us.
So I started working at Legacy, I believe, in October, like October 1st. So, I mean, as we all know, when March came around, the pandemic hit. When I was working at Legacy, that was awesome, man, because working at Legacy gave me the opportunity not only to get the Manhattan on my resume, but that's where I actually met my fiance. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm working at Legacy, and I started dating one of the, ladies that's working in the back of house with me, and then I end up just like moving in with her. So we're living together in Brooklyn in her apartment. So I wasn't even really in Jersey. we're in Brooklyn and we're going to work, and that's how it is. I was working the pasta station, she was working the crudo station. Then I end up
Crudo,
raw fish.
Okay.
Raw fish.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's doing
I'm learning a
all
lot here.
Yeah.
I always, I always forget. Like I need to break it down.
Yeah.
Nah, you're good.
Well, I'm curious. So
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're asking questions because I know people at home are like, huh?
Yeah, because it's like when you watch like a couple some of the TV shows do like the little call outs at the bottom. Like what was I watching the other day? I was like, dude, like I know what they're talking about, but it's still Shark Tank. Like when they start like rambling all this business stuff off, and like I have a pretty good understanding of all that, but like if they like broke it down, like not just like what the offer was, but like what terminologies meant, like it'd be way easier to understand or like understand why or like why you're doing stuff, right? Like so. Okay, go on. So crudo.
Yeah, so she was making all the pretty plates with the raw fish, and I was cooking pasta. Now I ended up getting promoted to the entremet station, which is the person who makes all the sauces and prepares all the vegetables and does all the plating for the entree person, or the meat roast cook is what it's called. So I'm right next to the guy that cooks all the meat and fish, and I'm putting together the plate with all the vegetables and sauces and purees and accoutrements, and then delivering it to the chef basically. And when I got promoted to that station, she got promoted to the pasta station. So she was like, you know what I'm saying? She was right behind me. And, the pandemic hit, and it was like, first thing I said to her was like, all right, well, gotta come to Jersey with me. I'm not leaving you out here in New York. Like, New York's gonna be like the epicenter for this. Like, things were already getting crazy, like in the subway systems and all that. Like, I want her to be safe. So boom, I just picked her up one day, like, pack your stuff. And she came back to Morristown with me, and then, we were just kicking it. Like, everybody, I feel like in America was like, oh, this is going to blow over. 1 week, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 3. Yeah.
In a month, a month and a half. I'm like, damn, we done watched everything on Netflix. For real, man. We watched the whole series in one day. I remember just... like, literally, we woke up, started watching Netflix. We didn't do nothing else. I remember my eyes were just waxed. I couldn't even see if I wasn't looking at the TV.
Oh, my gosh.
So then I started getting restless. And, we never had this much time to ourselves before. I mean, I never had time like this to myself, let alone in a relationship with somebody, living with them. So we get to talking and whatnot, and Christina loves to cook. She's always cooking. She's always baking something, cooking something. So like, she loves to bake, and we get to talking about how she always wanted to be a baker, bake sweets and stuff like that for people. And so we get to kind of putting this idea together for what would end up being called Babushka's Pies, which was our cake and pie delivery service. So basically, we actually started it. Our first push was Mother's Day. We did 16 cheesecakes for Mother's Day. So basically, Christina...
2020.
Damn.
2020, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, like we on the anniversary of it, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
And so she was making all sorts of delicious stuff, cheesecakes, galettes, like tarts, and I was just delivering them. And we started this business, like, right here in Morristown. We started the Instagram, social media. We started promoting it, and... it just like that took off, and people was really ordering, and I was doing Instacart. Like, I started doing Instacart to make money to create that business. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing Instacart, she's baking, I'm delivering, we got this little rhythm going, and then like, I got my longtime friend Joel, who would become my business partner. Him and I had always thought about and dreamed about starting a business, and like, like I said, when you're in this industry, you're in it for life. So like we always was gonna do something about food, and we get to talking about doing a pasta business because that's what I do. That's what I've always done. Like I said, everywhere I worked, I always made pasta. So we get to kind of, we use like Babushka's Pies as like the blueprint, like, figuring out the social media, how to order, how to promote, how to do this, that, and the third. And slowly, when Babushka's Pies was like running, like I started working on like putting SO together, like putting together the menu, putting together like everything that you can think of.
I love this
like,
shit, dude. I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah.
This is what I live for. This fucking shit right here.
Yeah.
So, Esso, where did it come from with the name?
I knew you was going to ask.
Yeah, because it's perfect. It's like I'm going to toss the ball up.
So, Eso is actually a Spanish word. So, at Jockey Hollow, let me rewind. So, Eso, if you go to like a soccer game, like in a Hispanic country, you might hear when there's a goal scored, you might hear people scream like goal, but you might also hear people say eso. So it's a celebratory term. So in the kitchen at Jockey Hollow, there was a lot of Hispanic employees. So like our celebratory term when there was something nice or something great or exciting that happened was eso. So like you could go back to my Instagram 2014, 15, 16, 17, you'll see me like hashtag eso like from way back because that we was using that terminology back then. And so I remember like it's me, Joel, and Chef Kevin in the group chat, like, and Chef Kevin is like still like right there guiding me, guiding us at this point. And he's like, "What are you guys gonna call the business?" And I'm like, "SO Artisanal Pasta," like, and it, I remember saying it and feeling kind of uncomfortable about it, like, it sounds kind of like a joke, like I couldn't even take it serious.
Yeah.
But then we all just kind of rolled with it, so it became that. And I was expecting him like to be like, "Oh, you can't call it that, you gotta throw it," but he was just like, "All right, cool." Like he didn't skip a beat, we just kept going. So I'm like,
okay,
hell yeah. He made the original logo for us. Yeah,
cool.
Kevin, yeah,
cool.
All right, so you're doing the blueprint after what was the name of the pie business?
Babushka's Pies. Yeah.
Okay, I'm totally gonna butcher that, so I'm just
Baba Ganoush.
So that's what I was gonna say. So, all right, so you're doing the blueprint. What are your steps? Like, what comes first? That you put together some sort of a rough business plan?
No, man.
Walk us through it, baby. Tell me.
Man, we didn't do none of that, man. I'll be honest with you, this whole business, man, has just been like all of us just taking whatever was right in front of us, like whatever was presented to us as something that needs to be done or needed to be done, and just doing it. Like there was no plan, there was no like I knew how to make pasta, we knew how to to run an Instagram account. Like we knew how to drive so we could do delivery, because originally it was going to be a delivery service just like Babushka's Pies, but as we started gearing up, like 2 weeks before we were set to open on the 1st of July, we got a call from Andrea, the owner of the Artist Baker, where we're actually located now. And she's like, "Hey, I think what you're trying to do is really cool. Do you want to do it in my space? I can't use my dining room because of COVID." And she had already, like, there were 2 businesses that have been in that space that we're in now before us. Cauliflowers, which is on Morris Street.
Yep.
And the bike shop from a couple of years back. So it was something that she was already familiar with. Not Marty's, not Marty's. But yeah, R.I.P., man. Yeah, good dude.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
So, like, it was like Domino's Perfect Storm, man. Like, we didn't have it.
Seems like your whole story's perfect storm, bro.
I know, damn.
Man,
It's just one after another. All right, so what? Like
I'm looking
she
for some
called.
wood. Is this made of wood?
What? Yeah. I mean, it's from Wayfair, so who knows? But
It could be.
it could be babies.
Knock that thing behind you. That's wood. There you go.
Right there, yeah.
Looking for
Now be
some-
careful, man. You never know.
I knocked trees
So all
sometimes.
right, so you started. So from what I just took from you, you started an Instagram and you were just like promoting that it was going to happen, whether and it was going to be delivery of some sorts, right?
We didn't even get to the point. We did one post and Andrea reached out to us. Like it was crazy. Like we didn't even get to the point of explaining. Like we explained like what the business was and whatnot, but like it didn't even get to the point where it was like delivery only. Like didn't even
it
get
was
that
just like
far.
the idea.
Yeah, and like I mean, I was just like, I remember when it got real when I was like, all right, I need to make the menu, and I was like, this is the first time I've made a menu that's not a menu. like that people are gonna eat hot. This is like I need to make these sauces and these pastas. So I remember just like sitting and like thinking about it. I was in my kitchen and I was like, oh yeah, this is really happening. Like,
so you moved into Artist Baker. Did you make a sale before that or no?
So we were doing last summer Black Lives Matters Morristown. It's a group. They were doing like marches and protests, peaceful protests all over New Jersey, all throughout the summer. So we, SO Artisanal Pasta, we were attending them because Isaiah, who's one of my business partners, him and his sister, they were like really linked in with the Black Lives Matters groups and whatnot. So we were setting up shop at every protest, and we were just taking pre-orders. Like we took.
You guys really are like Supreme, dude. Tell me you're not gonna make me pasta visual. Fuck.
We took a lot of pre-orders, man, throughout June. Like when we, man, our first, not even day, but the first day was a lot. But the first like month, I had to make pasta, like not only in the kitchen that we were working out of, the commercial kitchen, but in the shop. I had to have the machine with me every day because we were that busy.
Yeah, you had to be like selling pasta and then turning around and making it.
It was busy, man. Like I couldn't, like, you know, it was one of those things. I just couldn't believe that this many people really wanted to just come, like, not even buy, like, because, you know, in the beginning when nobody knows what the product is, they're really just coming to support you. It's not, it has nothing to do with the product because nobody knows what it tastes like yet.
Right.
So I was just amazed that it was like, wow, man, because we had like 56 pre-orders the first day. And like, for our business, 56 orders might not sound a lot maybe for like a restaurant, but for the way our business is set up, that's a lot, man. Like to have 56 orders in one day, I don't think we've ever, the closest we've come to that is like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, you know. But other than that, like, I mean, it was crazy. But like I said, there was really no plan, like, you know, but you know, need to make menus, we make menus. We need to make butcher blocks. Isaiah and I made the butcher blocks. We rented a saw from Home Depot, table saw, bought some wood from Lowe's, made them, stained them. Like, we needed to buy equipment. We bought equipment. Like, everything that we needed to do it. We need that. I bet, let's go do it. You know? There was no, like, blueprint. There was no, it was really day to day, a bunch of friends, you know?
Yeah.
Just making it happen.
So, okay, so you had a bunch of pre-orders. Who was the first person to like pick up an order, like, or did you drop it off?
Jacob Weiner,
okay,
my longtime friend. We went to middle school and high school together. He was the very first invoice and the first person before we opened. I delivered pasta to him.
Cool.
And he enjoyed it with his mother for her birthday. So
very cool.
That was cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Wow. Actually, we're gonna try and get that invoice and print it and put it on the wall.
We have our first invoice printed as well. Yeah.
Shout out Jake Weiner, man.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I have so many questions now. So we're going to go probably a little bit longer.
I'm cool as long as y'all want to go.
Yeah, I could use a cold one though.
An hour and a half. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for us.
So, because we talked about your story, which was so awesome, but now I want to talk business. Because I think that hearing the story was so important to know how you guys came to be. All right, so this is just a curious question in no particular order. Have you sold any pasta to any restaurants?
Yes.
Okay, and was that part of your original plan? I know that you guys didn't have a plan, but like, was that your goal, or like you were like, oh, we're just gonna sell to people, and then it just started happening? Like, oh, like we need some of this pasta.
Yeah, it just happened, man. Like actually, the first restaurant I want to say might have been Portofino's. It was either no. The first restaurant that there is, but there's gonna be some things changing down there. But there's a restaurant in Three Bridges, down in South Jersey called Luna Pizza, and you see like the pizzas that we do.
Is it Three Bridges? That's right next to Flemington, right? Yeah. I think I literally drove past it yesterday.
Yeah, the little house, right.
Yep, and there's a train tracks, 2 train tracks,
That's
right?
It right there.
Yep. I literally drove past it yesterday.
So the pizzas that you see us sell from time to time, they make those pizzas, and they sell our pasta too.
So is that a like business relationship? Is it?
It's a relationship, but we also like we pay for the pizzas, they pay for the pasta. But it's like it's all love there because that's actually the woman that owns that business is our importer for all of our Italian flours.
Ooh.
So it's just the layers are deep. So
Well, I'm gonna have to tell my sister because like literally we just ate your pasta together yesterday, and that's 2 feet from her.
Yeah. That's the best pizza I've had in America, honestly.
Damn.
It's been my favorite pizza.
I might have to make that trip.
Whoa.
Yeah, Three Bridges, Luna Pizza. They're gonna be switching ownership very, very soon. So if you want that pizza, you gotta go now.
Damn.
Mm.
I feel like Portnoy should know that shit.
Yeah, I know what. Like,
Yeah, has David Portnoy been there from Barstool?
I don't know anything about that, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you go down there, you will not regret it.
Okay.
Luna Pizza.
Luna Pizza, yeah.
So,
to give it a try.
all right. So, you got pre-orders. You started an Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advertising / marketing did you do? Was it because I see that you've gotten a lot of press, right?
Mhm.
What was the snowball rolling down the hill? What started really it going, or was it really just organic? Like, how did that?
It was super organic. Everybody will tell you we started the Instagram, we had like 50 followers, then we had like 100 followers, and then we had like 300 followers. And then like one day we woke up and we had like 1,050 followers, like overnight. Like we didn't promote a single post until like October. Like, cause I just didn't want to spend the extra money. So from June to October, everything was like as organic as it gets. We weren't spending any money on any sort of marketing, advertising, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Yelp, anything.
How many followers do you have right now?
We have like 3,180 something right now.
Okay.
So
what happened from the overnight? What did you get shout out in like the news? Did
Nothing.
anyone reshare your stuff?
nothing happened, bro. Like
Literally nothing.
Nothing. And the crazy thing was, I thought that they were bots, and I'm like going to every single
Yeah,
profile,
see?
and I'm like, oh, I know this person. Oh, that's my friend's mom from high school. Oh, she like. Oh, I used to like serve her when I was a bar back or back waiter at Jockey Hollow. Like, and I'm like, oh, these are not bots. Like, these are real people. Like Morristown, Mendham, Chester, Piscataway. I'm like, and they're from Jersey. Like, it's not like they were coming from, like weird stuff can happen on Instagram.
Yeah,
it wasn't like that at all. And I'm like, yo, and you gotta understand too. Like, throughout this whole thing, I'm not even really into all that. Like, I'm really just trying to make the product. So as this is happening, I'm just like, I don't even know why this is happening. We weren't even trying to, we were so busy, to be honest with you. We were so busy, so weeded with just actually producing the pasta, like, that the fact that all of these other things happen with the press and the social media is a miracle, because we didn't even have time to put energy towards that.
So you didn't even like reach out to these people. They just picked up your story, and because it clearly is an amazing story.
I mean,
like, it might be one of the better stories, not leading up to the business, that I think we've had on the podcast.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because it's such it really is just one.
The stars just keep aligning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. You are the first person that I called to see if you could, because remember I called you to see if you would include us in the Morristown documentary.
Yeah.
And the only reason I did that is because, like I told you, my Jacob Weiner, his father, remember we talked on the phone?
Oh, yeah. I was like,
he owns a business.
Yeah.
Morris Township, so it didn't really count. And he said, AJ, because I'm really close with him as well, he said, AJ, you need to try and, call them and see if you can be a part of that. It would be really awesome.
Wow.
And how'd you get linked up with Jeff? Because he knows Jeff?
Jeff started the Morristown Stimulus group. So, like, I'm posting in the Morristown Stimulus group. So, he knows about SO. He knows about the business and whatnot. So, I'm not really, I've never met him in person. But, Facebook, friendly with people and whatnot. So, it just, but you're the first person that I was like, I saw what you were doing. And I was like, oh, man, that's awesome. I want to try and be a part of that, because doing a documentary on like what you guys are doing, and for nonprofit too, like I said to you over the phone, I thought I was ready to like chip in, like seriously.
We
though,
take pasta as payment.
Yeah, no, I mean
For real though. No, I'm just kidding.
I got here right around these guys were starting to work on that too, and it's been like an incredibly rewarding experience.
I believe
you get
it.
to hear
I
everyone's
believe it.
stories, and like we're not even shooting for you right now, but we're just hearing your story, and it's so cool because we've gotten to hear how many of those stories now? Like
I think we're like 12 or 13.
yeah, so many stories, and they're all insane. They all give you a different perspective on what it means to be a small business owner and what they actually went through. Because everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll just quarantine for the next year, and just like see what happens.
And what's crazy about your story specifically is that you're opening up during the worst possible time to open up.
Yeah.
Like there's literally not a better time, a worse time.
You know, everybody says that. Yeah, it's so funny. Every single person that I get into conversations with, or even if they just come to the shop and they're like, and they ask me when I open and I tell them, that's the first thing that they say. And you know, every time I have to remember, oh yeah, you're right. Because we weren't thinking about that at all. Yeah. We were like, oh, this is our opportunity. When else? Because you got to think about it. When else are 2-3 guys that are in the restaurant industry gonna have time to create a business?
Well, and once again, the stars aligned because making homemade pasta, like making the pasta itself, is a pretty quick thing, but it's an activity. It's like, oh, we're gonna get homemade pasta tonight. Let me make the sauce, or you know, make it into like a thing, like the homemade pizza thing. Like, oh, like, you know, so I it might have been another perfect, you know.
It was, and nobody was the thing. Like, I really like. What I'm trying to stress to you is that everything that you're thinking right now, from you know, they did it because of this, or they did, like, it wasn't even like that. We really just did it, and we like, to be completely honest with you, man, like, it wasn't even that serious. Like, I didn't even think it was gonna become this. I didn't even, you know, it was just like I was bored. We started Babushka's Pies, and it was awesome. Yeah. No, seriously.
Yeah,
like,
no,
Christina and I were, like, bored. Like, because we both love to work. We love to do stuff. So we just started making moves. And then, like, with Esso, it was the same thing. Like, okay, well, Christina's doing her thing. Let me do my thing, too. Like, yeah. And, you know, it just became what it is because of the love and support in the community, man. Like, I tell people on the Instagram all the time, like, when I'm making the captions and all that, like, this whole thing, like, forget, like, you know, the quality of the product, this, that, and the third. Because a lot of people have quality products, man, and people don't support. So it's really because, like, you know, I'm a Morristown High School graduate, and, like, I have, like, parents of my friends from high school that come in and buy pasta. You know, like, people know who I am. People know who Joel is. Like, there's a real connection to the community. And so that's why I always say, like, you know, I got to give it to y'all because y'all are the one that put me in this position, you know. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
Power word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and it's just genuine, like, love and support, man. And especially in such a crazy time, like, you know, because, you know, it could almost be human nature to, you know, shutter yourself in something as crazy as the 2020, you know, COVID pandemic. But people came out and really showed out and supported, and not just us, everywhere in Morristown, if you notice. Like,
well, so through our interviews through the Morristown docuseries. By the way, let's explain that real fast. So if you're joining us, we're from Morristown, New Jersey. We're a video production company. We're currently interviewing about 20 different business owners to highlight their struggles and, I guess,
their overall story through the pandemic.
Just how they overcame the pandemic, and the underlying, I guess, how do you usually say this? I butchered this on the phone earlier today.
The common thread between all of the businesses, which is crazy, is that even though they were all struggling, they all somehow had time and money, whatever it was, to donate to the rest of the community. Like if everyone was shut down, like, people are making masks now, and then all of a sudden people are donating their leftover food, and, you know, they're
whatever they could do.
They're going literally out of their way to help out someone else, even though they're drowning. Literally drowning. Like, I'll hold your head up too. Like, how? It was mind blowing.
That's what I'm saying, man. Morristown is a beautiful place. We got beautiful people here. Like, real, like, it's just a blessing that, like, everything that has happened, like, and I'm not saying this just for us, like, for everybody. I mean, you're a business owner too, you guys, and like all these connections that are happening, me calling you having people on your show, me having people come to my store, other people, you know, like, it's just all love, you know. Yeah. And, like, it's really, like, you break it down to, like, everybody should want to help each other, and there's not too many places in the world, in the state, in the country, whatever, that you go that you could have something like this. I'm sure you go a couple towns over, it's not like this. Yeah. So, like, really, like, shout out to Morristown, man, seriously.
Yeah, and to talk about just, like, kind of Instagram, I saw your post today. I think it was today. Your post of your BMW with the top down.
How'd you know that was a BMW, man?
Oh, I'm a car guy, bro. I could tell.
I didn't want to.
That was a 328.
Nah, 323 E36.
Okay, man. Yeah, I know.
I didn't want to put that it was a BMW because I didn't want people to think that I was, like, you know.
So anyway,
you can't fool him though.
Yeah,
he just.
I could tell. I could look at the wheel and tell.
You cannot fool this guy.
But anyway, so he had a picture of what? Would you have a fridge in there and like?
Yo, man, I'm mad we didn't take more pictures because we was doing crazy stuff, man. We had everything and you could think of, and man, we was putting fridges in there, butcher blocks, 6-foot butcher blocks hanging off the like, cause
out of a convertible like a surfboard.
So like when we could drop, cause if you read the post, like we could drop, we were able to drop the top like I don't know the first 2-3 months we had it.
Yeah,
and it was I didn't even have any complaints that it was a convertible, because when you can drop the top, you could just load and load and load and load. When that top stopped working, man,
it was power. The power top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it manually if you had 2 extra hours to Allen key it. So, man,
because it's only for emergencies.
Right, right. It was rough, man. Like seriously, it was really rough. Like because the passenger seat, Christina's seat, it doesn't slide back and forth. It reclines, but it doesn't slide back and forth. Only mine does. It's just broken. So the way we had to maneuver, like I mean, we would have to go to get supplies and be like, okay, we can only do these projects today because the car will only fit this amount of stuff. Yeah. And tomorrow we'll do these projects because this is shaped like this and it can fit. Like seriously, I had to like really like lock in and understand like my capacity. On top of the fact that my shocks and struts were blown for like the past 6 months.
Yeah, and the more weight you put in it.
So I'm already just on eggshells to begin with.
Right.
So I mean, and then like I said it in the post, the wipers don't work sometimes. Like I remember it was raining like 3 weeks in a row. One time, man, I almost cried. I was so frustrated. It started because it was sunny, and I was on 46, and it started raining. Man, I almost pulled over, man. I was like,
you're just like in a rain jacket with goggles.
I was like,
we got pasta to make.
For real, man. It was tough, man. And like the heat, man. Like Christina would be cold. Like it was a lot. Like for us to get that van, like it really changed our lives. It was a real struggle. Like it sounds funny, like, but seriously, it was a real struggle. Like running this business out of a convertible when you got to move 200 kilos of flour that you just picked up.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like how many times?
And BMWs are low already. Like they ride low in the back.
And I'm driving the E36 was one of the lowest.
Yeah. They literally look like someone like lowered them for fun.
Exactly.
They're like this, the tires like that far.
Yeah. It wasn't until the E90 that they started becoming higher.
A little bit. Yeah. And they're still low. Because that's how they get such good handling.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it was all just like, you know, it was really mental, you know, like trying to hold everything down, like all the aspects, being this young, running a business, having all the problems and the issues and the things that we had to tackle.
You have QuickBooks yet?
Nope.
Oh, dude, wait till you. Worst program.
Yeah, that's why I don't have it. I read the reviews before.
It's the most. You just need a bookkeeper.
Yeah,
I never even log in anymore. It's so terrible.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, we went the bookkeeping route.
Yeah.
I read the reviews about QuickBooks, and even though it was tempting, because we didn't have somebody to do it right away, I was like, I don't want to just sign up if it's just gonna bite me in the butt.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah, you're. Did you get my text when I beep? Did I beep at you the other night? Because my music was on so loud, I hit my horn and I wasn't sure, and you like stared at me, and I was in my car.
Man, I don't even know.
I was like, yo, bro, that was me. I wasn't in the van.
I got your text, but I wasn't really sure if you even meant to send that to me.
Yeah, you were in front of town.
I might have just been. Oh, wait, was I inside of the vehicle or outside?
You were
of the
like
vehicle?
literally walking back to it.
Oh, I was probably thinking about a million things. I was probably looking at you thinking about gnocchi or something. I do that sometimes. I'll be looking at something, but I won't even know it's there. My bad. I didn't mean to.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to because my car's so tinted out. So I was like, dude, I got to text him because I had my music up so loud that when I hit my horn, I was like, I don't even hear if it.
Oh, you drive a Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Oh man, I think
because I think you kind of looked at me and and my windows are blacked out.
I couldn't see you.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, it's Dan.
Yeah, okay, I remember now. I remember.
All right, so what's left in this story? You're killing it right now.
Yeah, I mean we
What's your plans? So
yeah. What's your
next what do you see going on?
I can't lie to y'all, man. We don't got no plans.
That's good.
I'm not gonna lie to anybody, man. Act like I got it all figured out. I mean, I don't, man. We really like when I tell you that, like, I mean, I know what my plan is for the week. You know,
Yeah.
I know my plan, but I can't tell you that I have ideas, I have things that I want to do, but there's no real blueprint to this.
Yeah, well, is it like expanding, like
for sure,
like
more
more different like menu items, or is it like making connections with maybe more restaurants that are gonna like?
No, I mean in that sense, yeah. I mean we definitely want to like. Especially this summer, I'm hoping to collaborate with more restaurants because we've gotten our production down a lot better. We're able to produce a lot more in a lot more of an efficient manner. So I definitely want to expand that. You know, I mean, from the beginning to now, the menu is the biggest it's ever been right now. And it's like over 2 times the size as our opening menu. So that's great.
Damn.
You know, so we're always going to be pushing the envelope forward. Like, you know, my goal is to be like the one-stop shop for fine foods, you know, fine Italian foods. You know, you get your olive oils, your cheeses, your pastas, your sauces, your flours.
I'd be a fucking lifetime customer.
You know, so it's like, and
we need that in Morristown.
And that's what I'm saying. And it didn't even come from the idea that this doesn't exist in Morristown. It just comes from like, this is just happens to be my expertise.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, that's really awesome.
So are you currently in the same spot, or did you guys?
Yes. Well, I was go on.
So yeah.
Because me and him talked.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'm currently in the same spot. We you know, we got some big things coming soon, but I don't want to say too much.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say if you wanted to say it now, you know.
Yeah. You know, I like because the wood, man. Make sure everything goes through first before I. You know.
Don't pop the champagne before the deal's closed.
Right.
All right. Well, is there anything else?
I had a few like random questions.
Yeah, don't know.
So what's your favorite kind of pasta to make and eat both?
Is definitely tagliatelle. Any of the tagliatelle, I think.
What is that again?
If it
Google it.
It's a ribbon shaped pasta.
Ribbon shape. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I always stay away from like the stringy stuff. It's so hard to like fork in.
This is like thicker, right?
It's
like what?
Is it like a linguine kind of thing?
It depends on where you are in Italy. The way that I make the tagliatelle is the way that it is in Piemonte. The thicker ones that are closer to what you might think of as pappardelle, that's how they make it in Emilia Romagna. So it just where you go in Italy, things are going to be different. Like recipes are going to be different. The sizes of pasta, the way that they make the pasta, it's all subject to what camp you come from. The camp I come from is the camp that you see me put out on my menu.
Cool.
Favorite kind of sauce?
Oof. Yeah, I mean, like, tagliatelle bolognese sums it up. For me, man.
I hear you.
That's it for like.
Yo, meat sauce is the shit.
Right. I mean, those are my because I've always been a simple eater.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I never was like, even when I went to the Michelin star spot. I mean, because I've eaten at a lot of Michelin star restaurants, and like those memories are cool. But like, if you ask me what my favorite this, that, and the third was, not one of those restaurants pops into my head.
Yeah.
Like, some old dude hunched over, you know, like making pasta fresh and then cooking it and giving it to me. That's what pops into my head. So
hell yeah. Do you have any favorite like cooking shows or shows that like?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, man, I've only seen like.
Hell's
like
Kitchen?
I've seen no, not even. I mean, I've seen like, I don't know, 3 seasons of Chef's Table. I didn't really like it because. Nah, I shouldn't say I didn't like it. Like. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not a big TV person to begin with.
Sure,
I don't really watch TV, and like Chef's Table was the only one food wise that I kind of got into, but I didn't for no particular reason. I can't say that I like or dislike it. I'm just I don't really like watching TV like that to begin with. Like,
Sure.
When I was saying to y'all, like when I was in the pandemic and we were watching TV every day, I was like, it really like my eyes don't do well with the screen for long periods of time, even on my phone. So I try to stay away from that. But and then other shows I never really got into. So I just like to if anything, I like to see what people are doing on Instagram. I feel like it's more real.
There you go.
I feel like it's, I mean, real Instagram. I know that sounds funny, but like,
I
you follow the right people and the right chefs, and you see what they're doing, like, and you know, that's my more up my alley, like the post fresh from the kitchen, like they really just made that, or the video, the pasta production, or you know, different people, like the way they do it. Like I like to really get in there rather than like, you know, $1 million production from Hollywood, basically. Like it's different, you know.
Would you be on any of those shows if you were approached?
I mean, I've never in my life really turned the opportunity down. To be honest with you, like I anytime an opportunity comes my way, I'm always glass super full with it. So it's not like I would turn it down. But if you're asking me honestly, like, is that something that I'm into? It's not. You know, I'm not like, you know.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, but I like music, man. Like you saw me, I was walking around my headphones. I didn't even know I had it. Like I walk around my headphones all day. Like I'm listening to music all day. That's my, like, you ask me about music, then that's how I get down. Like,
favorite artist?
Oh,
because
God.
we're very into music.
That's impossible. If you're into
all right,
music,
top
you
three.
know that's impossible.
Top three.
You gotta bring it down to one genre first.
All right.
What's your favorite genre then?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Ooh.
That's an answerable music question.
Favorite genre?
No, I see. I don't know if I could answer that.
I don't think
because it's my mood.
That's boom.
Well, there's a mood,
I
and
do
it's
the
also
same.
where you are.
Am I waking up, going to sleep, working out, making pasta?
Yeah.
Making pasta.
You're
making pasta. If I'm making pasta,
yeah. What do you groove into?
It's either gonna be like rap or like house music.
Okay.
One of the like if I'm making pasta on like in this daytime and I'm chilling and everything is all good, it'll be house music. Okay. If it's like 2 a.m. and I gotta crank this out because you know tomorrow's Saturday, then it's like super duper rap music.
Okay. All right. So favorite DJ and favorite artist.
Favorite DJ.
Or producer, I guess.
Producer. Yeah. Probably like the whole like All Day I Dream label. Like probably a lot of people don't know about them, but they make like deep house music or like melodic house. I like.
Who's on that label? Because that sounds so familiar.
A lot of people, man. Lee Burge, Bedouin, Double Touch, George Wake, and Ijevsky. There's a lot of people.
Wow, we have a whole genre to look into.
Yeah, but that stuff gets deep, man. A lot of people aren't into that, but I just like it because me personally, as I've grown older as an adult, I'm really into music that has like I should even throw jazz in there or like just worldly music. I'm very into music that doesn't have words. Personally, what I found for myself is that when there's no words, I'm able to gear the music listening experience towards like whatever is going on with me in my personal life and how I'm feeling and allow it to help me with
like
that
interpretation, right?
Right, rather than like listening to a song, and basically when you listen to a song, someone's telling you how to feel. Like you could play like right, you could play like 5 different songs, right? They could be your favorite songs or whatever, but 5 different songs with lyrics, and no matter what you do, how you feel in that moment or what you're thinking is going to be geared towards those lyrics. And as I got older, I started not to like that because I started realizing, well, I wasn't even angry. Now I'm angry. I wasn't even sad before I listened to this. Not really sad, but you know, it's like subconsciously, like those things happen in your head. So I like to listen to music that doesn't do that. That just, I get into a groove. I like the beat, the nice little sounds and intricacies, especially like when you got nice headphones. Flow state.
That's what I love about like back when I was in school too. I used to like EDM music and house music and all that stuff, like all that lo-fi stuff, because if you're doing like a reading or something, it's kind of a pain to have a song that you've heard a million times, all the words to it,
especially
you're not really doing what you're doing, like you're sitting there singing the song,
but
it's nice when there's no words and you can just crank it and just really like dial in on what you want to be doing, and you're not thinking about, oh man, that lyric was really sick, or like, oh, that was like so cool, like, oh, I really relate to what he said there. You can just do what you want to do and just be there doing it with the nice background music that just taking out the rest of the world.
Taking out the rest of the world, man. That's a perfect way to put it.
All right, I have a question for you. You might not have an answer. For your average person that's just cooking a lot at home, what's like a tip that you can give them that maybe most people might not know?
Oh, I might have too many of those, man.
Cool.
Like geared towards pasta or just in general?
I guess
Either
in
or.
General,
Yeah, I mean, pasta's your specialty, so not a lot of people make homemade pasta, so like, I mean,
I would say like, especially people cooking pasta, like you need to save the pasta water.
Ooh.
Very important to save the pasta.
Can that
water.
be a T-shirt that you sell? Save the pasta water.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, with just the SO on the side.
Yeah.
Save the pasta water rather than pouring the water into like a colander in the sink and losing all that water. Just take tongs, whatever get the pasta out of the water, but leave the water there because that water is gonna help you build your sauce. It's gonna help you build a nice creamy emulsified sauce.
Hell yeah.
Because it has all the starch in it.
Yep.
Got it.
So very important to save the pasta water. That's probably honestly the biggest thing. People ask me like, how do I try to explain to people how to like make a pan sauce, and then they're like, oh, so I just grab water from the sink, and then I'm like, I gotta back up a couple steps. Like, No, genuinely. Let me back up a couple steps. Like, take the pasta out with tongs or you could still strain it. Just strain it into a different pot. You can still use the same technique, but just save the water.
Right.
Like instead of putting the colander in the sink, put the colander in another bowl or pot or whatever. Save that water. That water, if your sauce breaks, if your sauce is not saucy enough, you don't have enough of it, you need to stretch it out. If you want it to be thicker, because there's a lot of elements that go into creating a perfect pasta, and that starchy water is like it's like your ace in the hole at all times.
Yeah. What's like one of the harder pastas to make, or maybe the hardest, like for you, I guess,
to make make physically or cook?
Make.
Oh, definitely filled pasta. Or orecchiette. For me, orecchiette is really high up there. I'm not a big fan of making them.
What's that? Yeah,
orecchiette, the little ears, the little
like
the half shell.
Like a tortellini, but
no, just look it up real quick.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure.
What's it called? How you spell it?
Orecchiette.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the little shells.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
they're like
oblongs.
different from a shell. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you gotta roll out your dough, cut them into little pieces, kind of like gnocchi, and then you take a knife and you just push down and pull back, and then you pick it up and you push your thumb through it a little bit, and you.
Damn.
You can make one, you can make 10, but like
100.
Right.
They don't have like a machine to help.
No, there are machines, but it's not the same. I'm not a big fan of, I love that pasta shape, but like making them, man, it's tough. So I just that's why it's not. People ask me to make them, and I'm like, you make them. you let me know how that goes, man. Like how long it takes you to make enough for you and your family. That's hard work, man. So yeah, that's definitely. But then aside from that particular shape, like the filled pastas definitely take a lot more finesse. Like we just did a ramp raviolo for Mother's Day.
Was that the big one?
The big one, yeah. So you got a big raviolo with the big filling and the egg yolk in the middle, and that's hard to make and to cook because you got to get all your filling like in a perfect to nest in the yolk and make a perfect square. There's a lot that goes into it.
Have you had anyone ask for a refund?
Nah,
like I fucked this up.
Nah, the only time people ask for refunds was like if we made a mistake, like now I'm trying to think. Has anyone? Oh, nah, yeah. The only time someone asked for a refund was when we were supposed to do a Cavatelli class, but then like I ended up in some issues with the health department. Like we had to close for a couple days, and then I was like. I had to cancel the kit because we were selling a kit for the class. It was like the class.
You were doing it online?
Kit. Right. So then I had to like refund people for the kit, but still keep the class. And there was just a couple people that like got confused and they wanted the whole refund, not understanding that the class was still happening. They just had to go buy the stuff themselves.
Right.
That was the only time anyone ever requested a refund, but it had nothing to do with like the quality.
No. I could just see someone like messing it up and be like,
No, nothing like. I mean, fortunately, man, we've had solid reviews to date. Anything that has went wrong, like people have told me like in the past, like I remember one time we did agnolotti or I think it was ravioli, and someone was like, my ravioli was stuck together, like maybe just add more semolina flour to it, that we stuff that we just listened to. It's also tough with pasta, man. Like pasta is very, very, very delicate, especially fresh pasta. So like in the summer months, spring months, warm weather, like it's hard, man. Even those raviolos, like every person that came in to get a raviolo, I'm like, please be delicate, be careful, like lay them flat. They will break. Like they're frozen, they're fragile. Like you know,
you want this good pasta, you got to treat it right.
It's tough. Even like I carried them like babies to get them, you know, to it's tough, you know. So
that thing was huge when I saw you. I was like, is that someone's hand?
Yeah, it's big, man. It's big. So my fault.
No, you're good. Have you thought about like selling with a frozen pasta to like not selling, but like getting it like in like a Whole Foods or like a Trader Joe's kind of thing?
Yeah, see, that can be something down the line, but I think what's important for us right now is to continue to grow our hyper local.
Hell yeah.
You know, base, because ultimately, if we wanted to go into Whole Foods right now, we would need to close our storefront, cut all of our losses that have anything to do with like face-to-face interaction, and buy a warehouse and a whole lot of pasta equipment, and you know, and then that's FDA, that's
big
HACCP, and that process, getting there and then operating at that level,
it's a whole different game.
And it's no joke. You like, I mean, I have a guy that my graphic designer, Justin Benson, he actually he started a meatball company and a muffin company, multi-million-dollar companies. He was a part of those teams, and he's like always helping me with like gearing up to get to the next level. And he'll tell me all the time, like, you know, back in the day when we were doing the large manufacturing stuff, like the people that come around to check what you're doing, like if you make one mistake, they take all your product, put it into like a vat, pour gasoline all over it, and just discard it.
No way.
Yeah,
Jesus.
like you
like
can't.
the mafia.
Well, no, because it's like bioterrorism. If something goes wrong and you distribute it all throughout the world or all throughout the country, and people eat it and get sick or whatever, so you have to be on point. Like, we're not there yet to be able to afford to even have that.
It's a whole different.
Because you've been in business 1 year,
10 months.
10 months.
Jesus,
wow.
10 months,
Love
dude.
it.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, so there's one. So this is more of like a comment, I guess. So I used to live in Princeton. There's a place called Teresa, and they have this pasta combo that I only get there. It's I haven't seen it anywhere else, and it's wild. It's really good. I want you to go there and try it and make the sauce.
Okay.
Because the sauce is like crazy. It's a balsamic reduction cream sauce in like a shell like pasta.
Okay.
And it's amazing to have chicken, and then you put like a little spinach in there too. But that balsamic reduction cream sauce is like the craziest umami flavor in your mouth you've ever had. It's insane. I don't know if you make that or have experience in that kind of thing.
Nah, I can't say that I do.
Because it sounds overpowering.
I
like,
think
in my head at least, like, because like balsamic on a salad, you're like, oh, yeah.
It's very subtle. It's you have to use the balsamic reduction, like it's a thick,
like. No, I understand what you're saying. I think that's definitely like that might be more of like an American.
It could be,
thing versus like a lot of the things that you see me do. Even if it's my own personal spin on it, the roots of it are really Italian. Like everything that I'm doing.
I have two good questions. How un-Italian is penne vodka? It's mac and cheese, right? Like that's
actually great. I like that question.
That's what it is, right? Like, it's delicious. Don't get me wrong. It's great.
The way he shook his head was so
but
funny. You're like, no, dude, no.
Because y'all going to get me in trouble with stuff like that.
People are going to be outside your store. We love
penne vodka. I'll be honest, man. People have been asking us to put vodka sauce on the menu since we opened. And this summer, I'm going to do it because
people keep asking.
Just too much pressure. There's just too much pressure.
Bro, you gotta give the people what they want. At the end of the day, like they. I
mean, penne vodka is comforting.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. Now,
Italian.
if you asked my chef from Italy that question, then you might have had a serious problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, follow-up question: what's the most un-Italian thing that we do minus penne vodka in America?
I mean,
like, or that's interpreted as if like
this is Italian food, but it's really not.
Or like,
If I'm being honest with you, man, like the majority of the food that you see at any quote unquote Italian restaurant is not Italian.
Similar to like Chinese food, like Chinese people don't eat
Exactly like Chinese
the
food.
General Tso's.
Yeah, that's
It's just there's nothing wrong with it, man.
Yeah.
'Cause we like it here, so that's cool. That's fine. But if you're gonna try and do like even we like, I mean, I have mac and cheese on the menu. On my personal menu, because that's what I grew up eating. It's my grandmother's.
Wait,
recipe.
literally you have mac and cheese in your menu?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
it's in the shop right now. We had it on the menu
Dude, I'm
for
gonna go
Thanksgiving.
baroque coming to your place.
Yo,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
starving. I'm going to your place right now.
I'm gonna get my family down there and everything, man.
I got two.
Are you guys still open?
I got
wanna
I
go.
got I got 2
Okay.
pounds at the house right now.
Oh, you're right. All right. All right. What do you got? What kind of pasta?
Bucatini.
Bucatini.
Yeah.
I'm in. I want it. I'm starving.
Yeah, try it out. Man.
I think I have one more question.
So
What I was gonna say is like I have mac and cheese on the menu. That's personal to me. I grew up eating that. It's my grandmother's recipe. Like, who doesn't like mac and cheese? There's nothing wrong with American Italian or just American food. I'm not trying to put that as the narrative, but like, there's like different sides of me. Like, there's the side of me that's like speaking as like as an Italian driven chef, and then there's just like me. You know?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with penne vodka.
Yeah.
But if I'm putting my chef hat on and I'm working in a restaurant, like, you won't see that on my menu.
Right.
Yeah.
And if people weren't asking for it so much, I probably wouldn't put it on the menu at Esso. You know, more than likely. But it's not like I have a problem with it though. Like, if it tastes good, it tastes good. Back to the PB&J thing. Like, it's no big deal. And even like, you know, like our mushroom sauce, that's not Italian.
Oh, I was just gonna ask about mushroom sauce.
That's not Italian, but that was like, for me, the mushroom sauce was like my version of the vodka sauce. Like, I don't want to do vodka sauce. Here, I'll give you all the mushroom sauce. Like,
yeah.
and make it just a little more geared toward the kind of stuff that I like to do. But
Yeah, because like I've been to Italy only once when I was younger, and it's different.
yeah, it's just
It's very different.
The Chinese
hamburgers don't exist really there. Like I ate a
they're
hamburger
just
there.
they're just catching on, and they're when I say they're just catching on, like I saw. I kid you not, this is a true story, man. Yeah. I saw, I went to a burger place. I was living and working in Alba, and they were steaming burgers.
How?
What?
Steaming.
Because like the burger I had there was like very sweet, like a sausage almost. Like it had like
almost like a sweet meatball.
It had a bunch of different. You could tell it was different.
Yeah, they like to mix pork and beef with the burgers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but maybe it was that, but like it didn't even like.
Or like sweet sauce, hot sauce. Like they do
like,
that. They do that.
Because like
for
the
sure.
the best meatballs are mixed, right? But it didn't taste anything like that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
They're just catching on.
Yeah.
they're gonna get there. They're gonna get there. But yeah, that's so funny, man. When the last time I was in Italy, we actually did hamburgers for an event, like an offsite event. We must have cooked they were sliders.
Yeah.
We must have cooked like 500 sliders, man. And like, I remember the chef and we were making the burger mix, and like, he just was gonna put like olive oil and salt in the meat, and I was like, Chef, man, you can't do that. Like, it needs to have some flavor, man. Like, so this is the funniest story, man. Like, he tasted it and he was like, "Nah, it's got enough flavor." You know, he like walked off. But the way he like looked, like I could tell he tasted it, and he was like, "Damn, it don't got no flavor." But he didn't want to say it out loud, right? So then, look, it's a true story, man. So I'm like, all right. I start rolling them, you know what I'm saying? I'm rolling burgers. Then he come back like 5 minutes later. He's telling me, we're having this conversation in Italian. He's telling me, put him back in the bowl, put him back in the bowl. He brings out the spice cabinet. He's like, all right, you know, what do you think we should add? I'm like, all right, well, let's taste the spices. We tasting stuff, whatever. Add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's adding it. I'm just pointing at stuff.
Yeah.
And then I point to something, and as he's screwing the cap on the last thing, I just took the whole thing and I just dumped it in there. And he threw his hands up in the air. He started screaming and yelling and whatnot. But I'm like, chef, relax. It took me like 2 minutes to calm him down. Cause look, you gotta understand, it was like 40 pounds of beef in a bowl, and he was using a teaspoon. I kid you not, because in Italy, you gotta understand that the whole thing is like less is more. You know, you need to taste the olive oil and the meat, and that's it. So I dumped this whole thing in there. He red, going crazy, man. And I'm like, damn, I probably shouldn't have done that. But I got him to calm down. I'm mixing it real fast, like, and then we tasted again, and it don't taste like nothing. He looks at me like he was perplexed. And then he starts laughing, and, man, we start adding all the spices, all the seasonings, man. Worcestershire, barbecue. I mean, we adding everything in there, man. And we just keep tasting it, and we keep laughing because the flavor's not changing because it's 40 pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine, like, he was using a little tea. So anyway, man, so we put all the spices like we would here at home, you know? Because, like, you got to understand, you know, you go to the store, you get McCormick's, and they already got, this is the bacon blend, this is the rub roast, That doesn't exist in Italy. There's just spices.
Yeah.
There is no blend. There is no anything that you imagine in a supermarket. When it comes to like mixing things, it just doesn't exist. Even the soups, like, you know how here we have broccoli cheddar and stuff like that. Like there's broccoli soup.
And there's cheddar.
And there's a grana padano.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying? And like the chef's wife would mix those together. You understand what I'm saying? So it's different, bro.
Right.
And
a lot of people don't realize that because a lot of people don't even go to the country. Like,
I don't have a passport.
Well, yeah, dude, like one of the most eye-opening things about other countries, not only relating to cars and understanding how different cars are in different places, being a car guy, but when I went over to Italy, like, you get Gatorade, it's not the same Gatorade.
Nope.
It's a different, not only flavor, but it's a different
mixture.
It's
a whole different.
Dude,
it's a whole different product.
That happens when you go to
because they're not screwing their bodies like we are.
Oh, that's what I was just about to say. They're not allowed to bro, there's so many products that Italy cannot import because their government does not allow the certain ingredients that we have in it. It's scary, bro.
Yeah.
That's a whole different
And we're
podcast.
all just and we're just so money driven over in the United States. Like, who wants to pay me to let this slide? They're like, all right, no problem.
Yeah, you got it. You got yourself a whole. I'd like to be a part of that podcast, man.
Come on back.
Well, all right. So we could talk all night, but we're at 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, we got.
So tell everyone where they could come find you on the internet, find you in Morristown, where they can get your delicious pasta, your sauces, the mac and cheese.
So SO Artisanal Pasta, man. 12 Catano Avenue, Morristown, New Jersey. Big things coming soon. Big announcements. But for now, that's where we're at.
And then, and how can they find you on Instagram, Facebook?
Same thing. SO Artisanal Pasta.
ESO.
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 Yeah.
ESO.
I gotta say that over and over in my head because I still want to say ESO.
You can say ESO.
I was gonna say
ESO.
ESO.
Makes sense.
That's an easier way. Like,
you got to get the celebratory part. But all pronunciations are welcome, man. We don't.
yeah. People call us Sticks Media, Strikes Media. They're not welcome. Love you guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for
having me. It was a pleasure
hearing
hearing your story. It was even more of a pleasure tasting your pasta last night.
I can't wait to taste it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a regular customer.
We should really, let's go to the store. You guys aren't open anymore, right?
Wednesday. No, we're open.
Right now?
Right now?
No, not today. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
I was going to say, I'd rather get
Friday,
a sauce from you than rather go to the store. But
Yeah.
I ain't got no time to make no sauce.
I don't know. I kind of want to have the whole experience the first time.
All right. Well, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm hungry, too.
I'm starving.
Yeah.
All right.
What'd
well,
you say? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday,
Wednesday,
9
Friday,
to 5.
Saturday?
Yeah.
All
all
right.
right. Well, if you guys have joined us and made it this far, thank you so much. We are Strix Media. We want you to hit the subscribe button. I'm really out of practice on this, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Comment #live if you're watching us live. Comment #replay if you've made it this far. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll